Yanni's still fourth. I think that's a fantastic story. Richard Hunter, Emmerich, then Jackson, then Ross, then Paul, then Warwick, and we've done more than that safety car thus far. Okay, welcome back to those of you joining us on Facebook. My apologies, we've had some tech issues tonight of a challenging sort of variety, but we're hopefully going to be able to go with you now right through to the checkered flag there. As you can see, about an hour and 35 still left to go in this race. Jack Caban alongside Chris Whittaker and also Trent Lavis at this point in time in our broadcast booth here, as we bring you the GT Series finale from Mount Panorama Bathurst. And we'll do our best to stick with you right through the rest of the evening, but hang with us because, as you know, once tech issue, it's sort of like safety cars breed safety cars, tech issues breed tech issues. So we've got our fingers crossed, touch wood, that the gremlins have been sorted out and kicked in the guts. Chris Whittaker, I'll come to you in a moment. Trent Lavis, we were talking. I don't know how much of it went through, mate, so I want you to start again just so that we cover our backsides. Well done, Townsville Street Circuit, first time there, and you've come away with second outright, first in class in a street car. So, I mean, talk us through a whirlwind of a weekend for you.
Oh, mate, it's definitely been an adventure. I guarantee you that. There was trials and tribulations, a lot of attrition along the way, but still managed to come away with an awesome result and move along and track.
And mate, also great exposure for the skid control brand as well. You and Dylan Cottrell and the team also sharing the Fox Sports exposure that you got throughout the course of the weekend. I mean, it's frustrating times with the pandemic, but for local categories, local drivers like yourself, like the XLs, the opportunity to step up to the big stage. Yep, sure, it wasn't the free-to-air audience that we had last weekend, but it's great guns for you guys, isn't it, to have that platform in which to promote what you do?
Yeah, that's right. It's a fantastic opportunity, and all the local guys up there being able to have the opportunity to track. Then it's all very, very green. They all drove really well. Seriously up there. Awesome cars and some really, really top blokes and girls as well that really looked after us while we're up there, and a great bunch of people, and they can drive really well as well, which is awesome. It's a great experience.
Indeed. Chris, do you want to jump in here and ask the great man a question?
Well, I think he sort of jinxed. I think you jinxed yourself a little bit there, mate, with reaching out for the gearbox all week, and then unfortunately not able to find one. And then what'd you go and do?
Mate, it went absolutely kablammy on your third gear. It coming out of the second last right-hander just before going over Boundary Street over the jump there, just in third gear, powering out of the corner, and it just went absolutely bang, and generated a heck of a lot of glitter for me to clean up later on.
Just got a couple of people having a word to us via Facebook Live. Josh Maynard, thank you. We're just having a little bit of issues hearing Trent. I don't know if there's something Rob can do there. Oh, no trouble here. I'll come back to the boys. Massive carnage. The 46 involved. That's, of course, Jamie Welch. I'm not sure who was with him there, but two cars involved in that massive shunt under the bridge on the run to Murray's Corner. And that'll be Jamie Welch coming into the lane, the car behind him as well. And I'm assuming that would have been...
the one behind.
Yeah, okay, Jared Daly. So that's interesting because obviously this is part of this whole light traffic stuff that we've been talking about. And cars being at different points at the racetrack. Jared Daly down in 27th position. So I'm not sure what happened to Jamie Welch on that run to have him 4 seconds back in the clutches of Jared Daly compared to the previous lap. He's obviously made a mistake somewhere, Jamie Welch, on that lap to lose 4 seconds to be back with Jared Daly, because he was 24th and Daly was 27 at that time. Both have gone into the pit lane. I'll be interested to see what happens there.
Yeah, right.
What comes of that, what the stewards have to say about it, Chris.
So what's happened there? Hammond's had a bit of a dive under brakes into the chase.
Okay.
It's all legit. He's done the SVG special, park him up mid-corner, not deliberately this time. That was a little bit just. He's gone a little bit too deep under brakes, which is fine. It looks like he's actually pulled over to redress, and we've just had a replay of a couple of years ago with the supercars with the old SM forgetting to have a look before he comes back on the track, and. Yeah, they've all come back together. It's as simple as that. I don't think we can really pin the blame on any one of the three that were involved in that.
Geez, Chris Whittaker's not mincing words tonight. He's just thrown everyone under the bus in
why not, mate?
13 seconds. Well done. There's Dennis Gaderick on your screen, folks. I'm going to come back to Trent in a moment, and hopefully Rob's able to turn him up manually somehow. I'm not sure how you manage that. But Dennis Gaderick, 29 minutes, 12 seconds. So we're already a quarter of the way into the race. We are at almost 4:30 track time here at Mount Panorama. As he crosses the top of the mountain, you can see the sun starting to get into their eyes across the top there and down through the S's into the dipper now. He holds an 8.5 second lead. We've not seen any pit stops from the front men just yet. Maverick Benson is third. Yanni Soteroyo, he is there in fourth position. Richard Hunter, Emmerich Candola, Jackson Rayhana, Ross Ponting, Paul Wood and Warwick Sharp make up the top 10. Interesting to note, Emmerich Candola has lost a position to Richard Hunter here, and Jackson Rayhana has also dropped a spot as Richard Hunter's moved through. So Hunter, in the last few minutes while we've been off air getting the tech issues sorted, he's jumped up 4 spots from 9th to 5th, and Candola from 8th to 6th, Rayhana from 10th to 7th. Trent, I'll come back to you, and hopefully we've got our sound issues sorted out there. We know you're not in the usual setup tonight as you come back. I don't know where you're checking in from exactly, but we know you're not home yet. You're still on the long journey home, of course. Been a big weekend. Obviously, it's a little bit disappointing to not see you on the grid here. You weren't in championship contention, but it must be a relief to finally have the car back on track, be back in the real world. It's been a busy 4 weeks. You've had Noosa, you've repaired the car, then you've gone and done Townsville. How good is it to be back out doing the real thing properly all over again?
Oh man, it's been awesome. It's been really good to actually get back in the car and get thrown around and bruised up, and obviously making a lot of sim-based errors and collecting a wall and a few little mechanical issues and things like that, like at Noosa, as well as up at Townsville. But it's all part of the game, and it's all part of the fun. That's why we do it, and yeah, get to meet some cool people along the way, and the social aspect as well. It's been fantastic.
Josh Maynard also saying he wished he could be racing with us tonight. We wish you were on the grid too, mate. Obviously, it's a great spectacle with 40-odd out there at this point in time. Trent, let's go back to you, mate. What's next in terms of real world? Is it a defence of the Willowbank 300 in a few weeks' time, or is there something towards the back end of the year that you got your eye on?
Actually, Dylan and Hudson, one of the other ski control boys, are going to gear up for the Willowbank 300 and defend it. I'm going to form more of a team.
Oh, sorry, Trent. We got James Wilkins around the wrong way, and he was very lucky not to get collected there by another car coming through. I'm not sure what caused Wilkins to spin in the first place, but thankfully he didn't come back onto the racetrack 3 seconds earlier, or otherwise they would have been sent into the stratosphere. Go on, Trent.
Yeah, basically, I've forgotten where I was. Sorry, mate. Forgot the question.
You're saying Hudson and
Dylan for the 300. And what are you up to?
Right, yeah. So I'll be forming more of a team manager role. So I'll be looking after the team and making sure everyone's doing their roles right and forming the strategy for the team. So I'll be doing more of a logistical side of the campaign instead of the driving. So I'll leave it up to the boys, and I'll take on the rest of the responsibility, make it all happen.
Well, looking forward to seeing you in a different role. Obviously, we'd love to see you out on the racetrack as well, but it'll be nice to, I guess, be part of the action in a different capacity this time. Yeah,
it's all part of the learning experience, mate. You know, to run a car, it doesn't just take a driver and a piece of 4 wheels and a steering wheel. You know, there's a lot of work that goes into getting cars prepped ready and also keeping them running. So being able to form that part of the team and get the guys the best opportunity will be a new experience and should be a lot of fun.
Thank you very much, Trent Lavis. We appreciate that. Hang around, mate, if you want to. But if not, we should ask you at this point in time, who's your money on if it's not Dennis who wins this race tonight? He's looking good, though, early, the great man.
Yeah, Dennis is going to be hard to beat in GT cars. He's an absolute gun. I know he can smoke me any day of the week. So I've got my money on Dennis. But if there's anyone else, I dare say it'd be either Amarit or Hobbo would be the chance for sure.
All right, mate. Chris Whitaker, some observations from you of what you've seen thus far. We're past quarter distance.
We got bits and pieces going everywhere at the moment, mate. I've got my racing stream set to most exciting, and I don't think I'm getting any more than half a second on any car at the moment. It's just chopping and changing left, right, and centre. But we're going to do well. Thanks, mate, for some good racing when you've got a big field like this. I really like this idea of merging the pro cars with the pro-am cars, and look, at the moment you've only got Yanni in the top 10 as the pro-am, but I mean where is he, 17 odd seconds off the lead at the moment, but at the end of the day there's still pit stop strategy, there's still the chance of a safety car to come at some stage. What have we got left? We've got an hour 20 left in the race, so I think I'm halfway through, and hopefully we're past all our tech issues and we can press on and just see how it all pans out.
Indeed, we're riding on board with Nico Pop over the top of the mountain at the moment. Jackson Rayhana's in the pit lane now. Rayhana in. That's important to note. So Rayhana's the first to jump in terms of the leaders. And just to update you on Nick, he'd moved from 43rd up to 22nd. We'll get back to him shortly. So Jackson Rayhana in the pit lane, the first of... Well, at this point in time, he's made it to 39 minutes, 10 seconds. If you bank on one safety car, you can do 40-minute stints. So if you get one safety car, he'll be pitting maybe, and that's a big maybe because everyone's been fairly clean thus far. But he'll be looking at possibly a third stop, and it might only be a splash and dash at 35 minutes, 27 seconds, or close enough to the mark of racing. The last time by the line for Dennis Gaderick, that's not quite third race distance as Nick shoves it down the inside and just gets around the backmarker traffic there. It's got, I think that might be Rick Vincent on his tail at the moment, coming into Murray's, back around onto the main straight. Yes, it is indeed. 0.9 of a second between Nick and Rick Vincent at the moment. Now, it's interesting because 35 and 35 gets you to 70, so it's definitely going to be a splash and dash at the end for Jackson Rayhana unless he can fuel save under a safety car or two, and that will be the big difference at the back end of the race. But certainly a good start from Jackson.
Yeah, I reckon it'll definitely be a three-stop point from here. I did actually notice when he first stopped in the pit lane, he did have a little bit of front-end damage there as well, which that'll be hurting his fuel economy as well as obviously his lap time. So perhaps that's why he lost those couple of spots earlier on we mentioned. But what's going to be interesting, I'm actually on board with him now, and he's coming up to McPhillamy now. I reckon he's only taken fuel then with how long he'll stop now. Whoa, he's just been taken out into the S's.
Oh, no. So in the S's, there he is. Yep, at the top of the mountain, and now more damage on the front end of that car. Rayhana won't be happy. Come in to complete a pit stop, and he's basically heading straight back to pit road now.
Yeah, so
the key contenders at the top in the top 5 of this race, I dare say he would have been there towards the very end in the top 5, and he's been taken out of it completely.
Yeah, what I was starting to touch on was your fuel and tyre strategy in these cars, because it's actually a separate component to take tyres. It doesn't do it at the same time like in your GTE cars or your supercars or any of those fellows. So you put the fuel in first, and then you do the tyres. So if you take a full set of tyres in these things, it adds about another 24, 26 seconds from memory to your lap time. Now, the tyres do last a fair while, but you do suffer from a bit of deg as well. So it's a fine line between trying to get that track position And as he comes back into probably take his second fast repair here, which is going to leave him with
Nothing.
a Zippo to go the rest of the race. So
Yep.
you have to be a little bit gentle on the thing, but we'll see how it pans out. But
Well, as you say, if he's getting taken out, he's being gentle. He's doing his part. It's just that he can't rely with the on the people around him to behave themselves.
yeah, I
Nick
only
in the thick of it as well.
Yeah, I only just caught the edge of it, and I saw he came together with a white or a silver BMW, I think it was, and I'm not sure whose fault it was. I think he just had a bit of a lob into the S's, thinking that old mate was leaving the door open for him to come through, and they came together for whatever reason, but might have a little bit of a rewind in a second, have a squizzy look close at what actually happened.
Indeed, I'm just going to focus my iRacing screen on Dennis Gaderick here right now, because he's coming down the main straight as Nick comes up into the cutting. Gaderick's making his way down through on the inside of some lap traffic there. And I just want to have a look at his lap pace. 2:04.4 is his fastest lap of the race, but he has been consistently 2:04, 2:05, 2:04, 2:06 when he's been in traffic, 2:04s the last 3 laps. The guy is on song tonight. I don't know where he will be on incident points. That will be the telling story at the end of the night, because he got the pole position. If he gets the race win and he gets 0 incidents, he closes 10 of the 13 points that he had to close to Brenton Hobson. That's if Brenton doesn't get a clean race, obviously. With it being double points as well, it's going to be touch and go to see who the championship winner is. I don't want to be Adam Lavis crunching the numbers at the end of this thing, Chris, because it could be 1-2 points that separates first and second at the end, which is incredible after 10 weeks of action.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of the. So we've got drive through for Dave Trevathan there for the contact with Jackson just called. So I've just had a quick squeeze back. He actually moved over to try let Jackson through, bumped the wall and threw himself back in into the path of Jackson. So just one of those things, trying to get himself out of trouble, got himself into trouble, unfortunately. But these things happen. But yeah, from what you're saying there with the point situation, I mean, it's the beauty of the final round here with the Enduro. When we do the double points, anything can happen. It's anyone's race, really. We've seen what can happen with lap traffic, with slower cars and whatnot. So any of these front guys get caught up, it could be all over for them. And hey, really, I think there's 5 or 6 that technically can win or mathematically can win from here. Really, anything can happen in racing. So I'd like to see what happens.
Well,
good for second day fire.
That's exactly right, Trent. Good to have you still on board, mate. We'll come back to you very shortly. Brenton Hobson had a 13-point lead going into this race, but everything's double points tonight. So for pole position, Dennis inherited 10 points, so the margin became 3 points at the start of this race. How crucial is a clean race in the greater scheme of things? That said, it may not even come to that if they both have a clean race, it cancels each other out. If they both get pinged and have a penalty point, it cancels each other out. And Dennis being, I think it's 3 points normally first to second, the difference. So Dennis is actually in the box seat at the moment. And if they're tied on points and it goes to a count back, I think Dennis will win it, because he's got 5. If he wins tonight, it'll be his 5th win of the championship. I think that's how it works out. So again, I don't want to be Adam Lavis at the end of this. Trent, obviously we've been talking about your on-track real-world stuff. When are you hopping back in the sim, mate?
Tomorrow night, actually, I'll be in the sim, running with
Good boy.
Oz Pro-Am guys. So hopefully we'll get home in time. We're currently in Mount Mark, just south of Rockhampton, so from here tonight. And,
yep.
Bit of R&R, and then we'll
That's
get up
it.
in the morning to make the final track home.
Already enjoying the spicy colas, no doubt?
Too deep, mate, you know me.
Good boy. Excellent stuff. There's Rick Vincent coming into the chase one more time. There's Nico Pop coming out of the chase one more time. Really good stuff unfolding here so far at Mount Panorama, as Nick has a look down on the inside and can't get through. How good's track cam here at Mount Panorama? As I say, it's going to be sunset. It's going to be almost dark when these guys come back to the start-finish line. Sim time shows 16:41. So the race started, I think it might have been 2 minutes to 4 o'clock on the sim time. As Dennis Gaderick comes out of the chase one more time, I'll give you an exact update on track on race time very shortly. We're past the 1/3 mark now. Gaderick's coming in. Actually, Dennis Gaderick's coming into the lane. So Nick's making a move here on the inside. Nick going up on the inside of Daniel Birchnell. That's for 14th place. So Nick's into 14th, and Dennis Gaderick's in the lane for his first compulsory pit stop. 43 minutes, 47 seconds into the race as he crossed the line. And it's exciting times here at Mount Panorama. Big crowd on hand here, cheering on every move of these gentlemen at the moment. They're putting on a great show, a clean show thus far. Yes, there's been a couple of incidents, but we've gone safety car free, which is a big talking point. If we can go 2 hours safety car free, that's going to be 56, 57 laps of racing. That's a long slog for these guys without much chance of a breather. So Gaderick's in the lane. The man in 4th place is Yanni. He's in the lane as well. Maverick Benson's in too. In comes the 7th place Ross Ponting. So a lot of drivers have hit their mark. They've reached their limit. They've got to come in, fuel up the tank and go again. There's the car in 37th position, about to go a lap down for the second time, and that will be Grant Gill. In fact, he's already 2 laps down, so that will put him back on 1 lap down if he can stay ahead of Dennis, but he's not going to be able to, so he's still 2 laps down is Grant Gill. There's Yanni, the leader of the Pro-Am split. That's extraordinary. 5 positions separate him and the man that's second in the Pro-Am server at the moment, and that's Pariana Starkis. What a drive from Yanni. Sorterio doing an awesome job there at this point in time. Richard Hunter is 5th place in the motor race. I didn't see whether he came in the lane or not. So keep an eye out for Richard Hunter, because we saw Maverick Benson, we saw Yanni, we saw Ross Ponting. As out of the cutting goes Yanni one more time, sitting 4th outright. At the time of his pit stop, Dennis Gaderick doing a tremendous job at the head of this field. And we're looking forward to seeing what he can do between now and the checkered flag. Just updating you as well, folks. We've had another retirement. Johannes Koch is manually disconnected. So too is Pete Matson. They're both out of the race, so that will take us to, I think it'll be 7 retirements now, with Daniel Aish, the non-starter. It's important to note. So, Chris, even though we haven't had a safety car as yet, the rate of attrition's high very early on, and important to note as well, only the 24 still on the lead lap. Paul Nichols is the last of those on the lead lap at the moment.
Yeah, and typical of Bathurst, really. It's doesn't matter how many laps you put in around this place. It's still daunting, and it only takes a little mistake for your race to become unravelled pretty quickly and pretty badly. So I've actually got Hobbo in the pit lane right now as well. He's been stopped for a little bit, so I'm wondering if he might be throwing as he drives. That'd be right. So I don't think he's taken tyres either. So I reckon both Hobbo and Gaderick are just pressing on without taking tyres in this first stop. Possibly just leaving the cards open if there is a safety car later on. I reckon you'll see at least one of them throw some on and go for gold from there. So, but yeah, 24 left on the lead lap. I probably expected more of them to be on the lead lap at this stage, but there has been a bit of carnage throughout the field. So, not sure that anyone's going to be getting out of this one instant free.
No, it would seem not. But that's, again, that's the beauty of Bathurst, as you've said so many times already. Good to have you with us, folks. Do It Drift Esports, Monday Night Motorsport, Gentleman Sim Racing Club from Mount Panorama, Bathurst. Isn't it? I was going to say the tech woes continue, boys, because I was just going to go and open race laps, and it's just said, no, you've got to do an update, so that won't be happening anytime soon. And I'll just be drawing on the iRacing graphics for the rest of the night. Dear, oh dear. Trent, your observations so far. I don't know if you've been able to tune into Rob's stream as you've been talking to us, but what have you made of the night so far, mate?
I've just been watching the last, since I jumped on board here with you guys. It looks like it's starting to sort of settle down to a bit of rhythm. At the moment, you've got Hobbo out the front at the moment, and Dennis is pitting, so it'll be interesting to see how these varying strategies play out later in the race.
Indeed. let's update you folks. Dennis Gaderick's coming round to complete lap 23 this time by, and in neat time as well. 48 minutes and 48 seconds as he completes lap 23. We are on track for about 56 laps of racing, maybe 57, if we keep this up, because what will that be? That'll be, he'll easily get 28 in the hour, which is just extraordinary, and testament to the speed of the Ferrari, the way that he's been able to push it at 10 tenths, and also the fact that we have been uninterrupted as we've gone through here. So 48 minutes 48 seconds last time by the line. Our leader's out to 17 seconds over Brenton Hobson. Maverick Benson sits third. He's got by Yanni, of course. He did that much earlier in the afternoon. Emmerich Candola sits fifth. Ross Ponting, Richard Hunter, Paul Wood, then Nico Pop. That makes up the top 9. In fact, Michael Schreier's got by him now, because Nick's come into the pit lane and Curtis Porter rounds out the top 10. So we've reached the end of that first round of pit stops, and the order, there's been no real movers and shakers in the pit stop there, Chris Whitaker. I'll come back to Chris in a moment. Hey, Trent Lavis, obviously a lot to turn around for you from Noosa to Townsville, and I know there's been a few people that helped you make sure that the car was able to get on track in Townsville in the first place. Now it's probably a good time to mention them, because motorsport's very much a team game.
Yeah, that's right. So most people probably know already at Noosa, I managed to pin the car into the wall at the very last run of the day, and without the help of the old man and the boys and kids who will repair the car and we had the car fixed with the lead but also in Townsville we broke the gearbox, as we spoke about earlier, and the local guys up there, Ben Gupp and the crew at Ground Up Motorsport opened up their shop for us in the evening and let us work on the car until midnight at night, Saturday night, to get the car ready and back to the track. Really cool experience.
Yeah, no, that's again, testaments to the motor racing industry. Whenever someone needs help, there's always people there willing to pitch in and help and make sure that you can at least have a crack at getting back on the circuit in the event that it is a possibility. I mean, obviously in Noosa's instance it wasn't a doable option, but for Townsville, with many hands making light work, you were able to get back out there, and that's the main thing. That's what motor racing's all about, mate. Very nicely done. Jackson Rayhana on the screen here in 13th position at the moment, and actually make that 12th because he's got by the man that was in front of him in Warwick Sharp, the 222. As they come round onto the main straight, complete another lap. Now, Robert Hazeldine, can I check in with you at the moment? The Dual Drift Esports Motorsport broadcast streaming live on YouTube tonight, and also Twitch and Facebook. The network continuing to expand, and just, you know, gremlins aside, there's a lot of people tuning in and enjoying the coverage.
Yes, there sure is. Everything seems to have, with that touch wood, sort of sorted itself out.
Yep.
But yeah, look, we're back up on YouTube and everything, so I think everything's going pretty good. Quite a few people tuning in through the different methods, so it's good to see.
Indeed. 1 hour, 6 minutes of racing to come here at Mount Panorama.
I've just realised I've been talking to you guys and it's been muted, and that's why you keep talking over the top of me, because you can't hear me. So there we go. Make sure you unmute yourself, Chris. Note to self.
Yeah, well, this is exactly right. I didn't even see the mute button next to your name. I just didn't realise what.
Yeah, manual mute on the.
Manual. Yeah. You're just stitching yourself up tonight, aren't you?
Oh, mate, every time there's something I forget to press the button when I'm talking, or now I've got a new one. I forgot to unclick the mute switch. So there we go.
Sorry, mate. You shouldn't have opened that email.
Yeah, no doubt. What I actually was starting to say earlier, which I heard and everyone else in the room, which is just me, heard in relation to the pit stops earlier on, and I don't know. Maybe there is someone who has taken tyres that we haven't seen drop back in the field a bit. I'm a bit surprised that maybe Hobbo didn't have a go at it because at the moment Gaderick's just driving away from him. So unless he's got some sort of mega fuel saving strategy going on, which it doesn't really sound like it when I'm on board with him, he's going to have to do something to try catch up to Dennis. And it's one thing catching him; it's another thing getting past as well. So I'm intrigued to see what his strategy is or what his plan is moving forward. Maybe they have to pray for a safety car. He takes tyres, drops a couple of spots, drives back through. I don't know. It could open up and become interesting. I guess vice versa. You got Gaderick's now got a 19-odd second lead. I can't see exactly what it is. I'm sorry, but 19-odd second lead. So he's nearly got a free set of tyres in hand as well on the next pit stop. So if he keeps pressing on how he is. It's pretty well. I'm not going to say it. I don't want to put it up there.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly right. You don't want to do it. The commentator's curse. You don't need that to strike twice in the same night. Let me tell you. Hey, massive crowd on hand there. All, most of them doing the right thing with the old social distancing rubbish. But again, iRacing has enough trouble with its updates without incorporating social distancing into it, folks. So cut them some slack if you please. Nick's there on screen at the moment, doing a nice job actually in 19th at the moment from 43rd on the grid. We'll be checking in with the Ford GT driver after the race. Let's actually, I was literally just about to check in with Paul Nichols, but he's just muted himself, so we'll go back to him a little bit later on when he unmutes himself. And we'll watch what's on screen here at the moment. These cars coming out of the cutting. Up over the rise into the wall. The car that was listed as 32nd there, straight into the wall, if you don't mind. That was Kim Fora from the Pro-Am ranks, kissing the wall at Sulman. Oh boy. Now side by side further down the field, coming into the chase. This is the battle for 13th and 14th. That was Warwick Sharp and Nick Windsor. Windsor throwing it down the inside. I'm not sure if he actually was able to get it done, but we'll follow that up. No, he was not able to get it done, as the director throws it around for me. Under the main straight, Warwick Sharp doing a nice job there, holding off Nick Windsor at the moment. 13th and 14th in the motor race. Oh, actually 12th and 13th now as they move on up. Curtis Porter is keying into the pit lane to stop in the meantime. Michael Hammond, big mover. He was 26th about half an hour ago. He's moved himself up to 14th place. We're seeing the big races, the good races in the field here, moving their way up through, which is very good to see. Chris Whitaker and unsurprising from Hammond, and also from particularly Nick as well. He's always one that charges well, burning from the stern.
Exactly right. Nick's got a bit of experience starting from the rear there and picking through the field, and he's known to have some bloody good luck when it comes to pit strategies and the likes as well, with when to stop and getting very lucky with that yellow flag coming out. But no, he's done bloody well here. I mean, he's got 43rd, I think it was 43rd up to 18th now. And he's got some reasonable pace on board as well, so it's going to be interesting to see where he can push forward too. But the usual suspects is what I'm trying to say. That nearly had to add the bleep button there. But the usual suspects of the Gadericks and the Hobsons, Yanni, Amrit, they're all up there where we expect them to be. Australia, I probably expect to be a little bit higher up than where he is at the moment. But there might be something else going on with the damage or something in the background as well, possibly.
2 cars ahead of the battle you're watching at the moment. Warwick Sharp, Nick Windsor, 12th and 13th. 2 cars ahead of them. Sitting on 10th position at the moment is Parry and Astakis. If we can get a shot on the 144, I want to talk a little bit about this bloke, because he is second as far as the Pro-Am drivers are concerned at the moment. And that is a fair achievement, sitting down there in 10th position. There he is. He's got Jackson Rayhana closing him down. We've got trouble at the top of the mountain. I'll come back to that. I was just about to send a shout out to a good mate of ours in Sydney that's tuning into the broadcast, but there's been a trouble at the top of the mountain. Dennis Gaderick's been able to get through it, but there's a car off coming into the dipper. Dennis Gaderick lucky to get away with that, actually, Chris.
Yeah. My screen just jumped forward to I thought it was a black Ferrari maybe. It jumped forward for a half a second and all I saw was a car facing the wrong way and then it jumped away to someone else. I'm not quite sure who it was.
There it is. It's Jamie Welch. Have a look at him crunched up.
Right.
And again, I didn't see I only heard it in the effects in the earpiece here. Jamie Welch crunched up, Jackson Rayhana style actually, coming out of the chase on the run down under the bridge and possibly into the pit lane. No, he's going to continue on with that damage. That's interesting. Which makes me think that it might have actually been someone else. We'll find out in a moment. Anyway, just going back to Parianasakis if we can, Rob, and I apologise for getting you to chop the camera around as many times as we have already tonight, but he's sitting 10th at the moment. He's one of the stalwarts. He's still under pressure from Jackson Rayhana. It's testament to his skill. He's a veteran in iRacing. He's a veteran in club-level circuit racing here in Australia, particularly in New South Wales, and he's holding off one of the young guns, one of the up-and-coming stars in sim racing, in Jackson Rayhana in behind him. He's got Maverick Benson right in front of him. This is a three-way battle for 9th, 10th and 11th at the moment. They've caught Maverick Benson. They've closed up on him throughout the course of the lap. You can see some damage there on Benson's car, and that makes it easy. Parianasakis just blasts on by down Conrod straight, takes Rayhana with him, and all of a sudden Anastakis now sits 9th, and Rayhana gets himself back in the top 10, which after having to make pit stops on back-to-back laps, consecutive laps there, is a fairly nice performance, a fairly good comeback from young Jackson Rayhana. But focusing on Parry, Wakefield 300 veteran, Motor Racing Australia veteran, and that's part of the reason for the plug. I want to say hello to a good mate of ours, a legend in New South Wales club level racing circles in Terry Denham, and of course Wakefield 300 winner this year, the man that we call Mr. MRA, the main man behind the Motor Racing Australia series, has the title of being the first club level racing event to get back underway in the post-COVID era of Australian motorsport. And they did that in June in Sydney, and we know that Terry's tuning in tonight watching Parry hard at work here. So we hope you're enjoying the call, mate. And Motor Racing Australia-MRA on Facebook if you want to get involved there. It might actually be the other way around, MRA-Motor Racing Australia. Either way, you'll find it on Facebook and check that out. They weren't able to run the Sydney 300 this year, but I was very lucky to call that event with the legend of Australian motorsport in Will Hagan in terms of commentators last year, and looking forward to coming back down to Sydney anytime Terry will have me. He's a nice bloke, and he puts up with me, which many people don't. So I know he's tuning in tonight, and hello to Danielle and the kids as well. I believe the youngest, Olivia, had a birthday the other day, so say happy birthday to the young one for us, mate. Let's have a look at this car in 19th position at the moment. This is Ben Miller. On the subject of Pro-Am drivers, he's chasing Dylan Gray at the moment, and there's about 6 seconds between them at this point in time. Curtis Porter in behind Ben Miller. So just updating, I know you can see it on the totem on the left-hand side of your screen there, folks, but you're not always looking at that, and we're certainly not always looking at that. But as far as the Pro-Am split is concerned, Yanni sits third and first outright in Pro-Am. Second in Pro-Am is Parianasakis, who sits 9th outright. Third in Pro-Am is Dylan Gray, and he's 18th. Fourth is Ben Miller, and fifth is Andrew Goldman, who is 22nd. So 5 of the Pro-Am cars in the top half of the field, and reminding you that we still have, even with Dave Trevathan out of the race, Chris Polly's 7 laps down, the last of the cars in the field at the moment. We've still got 38 of the original 46 that were in the server at the start of the night. So yes, there's been a rate of attrition, and yes, yes, there's been a lot going on here, but you still have 38 cars and have been safety car free for just over an hour. We're past half race distance. That's a tip of the hat to everyone involved here. Chris Whitaker, the mantra of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, our gentlemen, it's being well and truly upheld and maintained by these guys tonight.
Yeah, I was actually thinking earlier today when I was just thinking to myself I might jump in for a chat, and I was, Gentleman Sim Racing Club. I wonder how gentlemanly everyone's going to be at Bathurst tonight. I was honestly expecting a bit more carnage at the start, but it seems to have settled down a little bit more now. And there's that was very close. Look at that Merc to going around there, but look, the guys have settled down a little bit now. They've all jumped in their groove, and Ben Miller, who was just on screen before, he was actually caught up in that incident earlier on with with Brendan and with Nico as well. So for him to come back through to was back up to 19th or thereabouts, so he's done pretty bloody well there as well, because he would have dropped back to probably last or very close to last with that incident there. So, but yeah, as I was saying, the guys have sort of settled down a bit. They've got into their rhythm. A lot going on the comms with the pass left, pass right, thank you, get out of my way sort of thing. Not so much of the get out of the way, but a lot of the pass left, pass right, and thank yous, which it's good to hear. But yeah, obviously every now and then you hear another couple of words come over there, which we won't repeat.
Well, this is true. It's only 6:30 in Western Australia. Just hold another hour for me, and then we can go your hardest. Because that's when the M rating kicks in there. This is the battle for fourth, ladies and gentlemen. This is Emmerich Candola and Ross Ponting going toe-to-toe at the moment. You can see Richard Hunter just behind them there at the bottom of the screen, coming out of Hell Corner. So up we go over the rise, under the Pettis sign, down towards Griffin's Bend, and this is Emmerich Candola in the BMW versus Ross Ponting in the Mercedes. This is for fourth in the motor race, and Candola doing a nice job of holding and answering the challenge and being good under pressure here, holding Ross Ponting at bay. As you can see, the sun just starting to set here at Mount Panorama. Sim time, it's 5:03 local time, and we have got 1 hour and 5 minutes on the board in this motor race. Dennis Gaderick the leader by 18.9 seconds at the moment, and we have gone caution-free thus far. Over the rise, through Reed Park, on down to McPhillamy, take the left-hand curb. They don't smash that, but they do often clip the one on the exit there. Into the S's, down into the dipper. Again, very evenly matched, these two cars. Ponting very close to the wall there on the outside. Following Candola through. Couple of varying lines there between this pair, but they were a long way behind in the race battle. They're 7 seconds behind Yanni, who has got himself up into third place, the Pro-Am driver in the Ferrari. So it's Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, BMW, Mercedes, Ferrari. The top six at the moment. Richard Hunter there doing a nice job. Paul Wood also good. The Merc in 7th place. Michael Schreier 8th. Then Parianastakis in 9th. And Jackson Rayhana rounding out the top 10 at this point in time. Just going back, I know he won't want me to make the whole conversation about him, but as I said, Terry Danovan's shooting in. Handy racer in his own right. He should be on this simulator when he's not busy with MRA commitments, I reckon. Ask Danielle for a Santa Claus present, mate. So get involved with the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club. Come and race Parry and the rest of us. It'll be good fun. And I say that because he handled the test of endurance. These guys are racing for 2 hours. Terry did it for nearly 3, running in the Wakefield 300 earlier in the year, as I say. First driver to win it solo. Nice little piece of history there. Not an easy slog at over 137 laps there in the middle of summer on the 2.2 kilometre circuit, if you don't mind me saying so. And I guarantee you the drivers here will be just as spent after 2 hours working from their office, let alone from the cockpit, after this race tonight. It does zap a lot out of them. It's a testament to their longevity, their durability here, as we see Nick making the move actually down Conrod Straight. That's on the outside of Richard Mitchum. Well, I'll come back to you on that point that I wanted to make there, Chris. That's Nick charging into 15th place, ladies and gentlemen, on the outside down Conrod of Richard Mitchum. And now Nick from 43rd to 15th continues. He's charged through.
Yeah, that
magnificent.
That 4GT's got some giddy up there, hasn't it? It is super quick in a straight line. The Ferraris, yeah, they're typically known for having a hell of a lot of top end, and he just drove past him like he was standing still. That was
he's finally found the sweet spot with it, Chris.
Yeah, well, don't go throwing the commentator's curse on him, but he's doing all right. He's doing all right. Interesting to see how he goes catching up to this other Ferrari in front. I don't know if who was he battling with there? Richard Mitchum. I'm not sure if he maybe rolled out of it a little bit or something. He went past very fast. Either that or maybe Nick's got the low aero set up, reduce the drag and just hang on to her over the top.
Just got a reply to what I was just saying about Terry Denovan coming and joining us. He said, "I've got a sim, but can't drive it for insert word here." So I'll leave it at that. Thank you, Terry. Very nice. Up into the cutting we go once more. 19th place is, of course, Ben Miller. And he's doing a nice job, as I say, chasing Dylan Gray here. So Dylan Gray is... actually, I think that's been a change, has it not? Yes. So Dylan Gray's dropped in behind Ben Miller, I do believe. So Ben Miller up into 18th and Dylan Gray in behind him now. The battle for 18th and 19th in this race. And very nicely done. Looking forward to checking in. There are going to be so many drivers coming in to have a chat with us post-race, folks. The post-race show will be one to look forward to, especially with Chris Whitaker sticking around to lend some expert comments. Trent Lavis, one of the things, I'll come back to you since you're still with us, mate, and I appreciate you sticking on for as long as you have, considering the long journey that you've endured the last 12 or so hours. Have a look down Conrod Straight here, Ben Miller going on by the lap traffic there, doing a nice job. Mate, what's amazed me about this series is the competitiveness of BMW, of Ferrari, of Mercedes. Tonight it all comes to a head. And we were talking about the pick and stick rule. Everyone had to pick one car and stick to it. I think what Chris was just saying there with Nick, he's finally found the sweet spot with the Ford GT. Dennis has definitely found the sweet spot with the Ferrari. But we were always mindful that there were going to be some tracks that would be better suited to a certain manufacturer or a certain car than others. And for once, it looks as though Ferrari is going to be the king of the mountain.
Yeah, definitely. The Ferrari, its handling capabilities across the top of the field are hard to keep up with any of the other cars. So, yeah, it's pretty handy top speed as well, as Chris was saying earlier. So those two things coupled together, and it's a bloody good steerer by the name of Dennis, and you get a good result.
So just updating you folks, running order. Dennis Gaderick, nearly 70 minutes on the clock last time by the line, 109 minutes, 69 minutes, 48 seconds. 19 seconds clear of Brenton Hobson, then Yanni third. I'm interested to get Brenton and Hobson's comments at the end of the night because, as we said, the balance of performance update somewhat anchored the Mercedes, according to everyone that spoke to us about the Mercedes in the 2 weeks that followed the BOP update. And we were mindful of that coming into Bathurst, and it looks as though it is a little bit hamstrung compared to the Ferrari, especially when you look at the fact that you've got 3 Ferraris in the top 6, you've got a BMW and you've got 2 Mercs. In fact, 4 Mercs 5 Mercs in the top 10, but just not on P1, not in P1, which is an interesting story when you look at the Pro-Am split as well in the point standings. They were 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th in the point standings, and they had 5 in the top 10 in the Pro split as well, but only 2 of those were in the top 5, 1st and 5th. The others were 6th, 7th and 9th coming into this round. So Mercs have been dominant without too much luck as this year has gone on, as this championship has gone on. And when we talk about race wins, 4 to Ferrari, 4 to BMW, because Jeff Connell picked up 1 as well, and just 1 to Mercedes throughout the course of this championship. Consistency is what's kept Brenton Hobson in it for as long as he has. Here is Jackson Rayhana, I believe, giving Pariano Starkus the hurry up over the top of the mountain now. Right on board with Rayhana in the 57 as we go up through past the Fujitsu sign. Hello to Mark Taylor if he's tuning in. Up over Reed Park, on down to McPhillamy, down through the Great. This is an ongoing fight. 9th and 10th. Rayhana needs to find a way by Anastakis so that he can get out and try and chase Michael Schreier, but it's 12 seconds up the road to Schreier. And that's the thing, without a safety car, and let's be perfectly honest, we're not going to throw one just for entertainment purposes, although it wouldn't be a bad thing necessarily with about 20 minutes to go. That's a hard task to try and make up 10 seconds around here, especially when, as you saw in qualifying, Chris, everyone was so evenly matched.
Yeah, I think there was only one, if you exclude Dennis, it was 3 or 4 tenths clear of the field. You had from Hobbo back, there's a second from 2nd through to 6th, and then really another, in fact I'd lie, sorry, it was a second from 2nd right through to 10th, so it was pretty tight there.
Indeed it was. There we go. Sun in the eyes on the main straight here, starting to blind us. Mount Panorama. It is 5 sim time here. Monday afternoon motorsport on the mountain. How good's that? I don't know if the residents of the mountain like it so much, but we certainly do. Monday night motorsport for Dual Drift Esports, for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, for El Jacob Gaindar, for Central Coast Subaru, Oculair, Flash Graphics, and everyone else that's been a great supporter of the series right throughout the year as well. There's the Oculair aerial shot showing and telling the story. Picturesque Central West New South Wales, the Central Tablelands, beautiful part of the world. Miss it dearly. Ipswich just doesn't have the same sort of vibe to it as Bathurst does. More so, when I think of Ipswich, I'm thinking more so Kelso. But anyway, that's another story for another day. Dennis Gaderick crossed the line just then to complete lap number 35. He starts lap 36. I'll tell you what, he's on track for 58, 59 laps here. It's just an extraordinary pace he's setting at the front of the field, and it's consistent as well. And Trent, this comes back to what you were saying earlier. He's a gun driver. To be able to sit there, even in traffic, and only lose maybe half a second to a second when he's stuck in traffic, but to just punch out lap after lap, this is why he's one of the best in the sim business. It's an incredible skill set, an incredible mindset that you need to reach to be able to just hit that level of consistency every single lap.
It's super impressive what he can do with him. It's even more impressive that he's actually doing it on pretty budget monitors and things like that. And we've been egging him on to try and move the step up to higher frequency monitors. I think he's only on 60 hertz monitors at the moment. Get him up in there in a higher hertz monitor, then he'll be hard to beat. Very hard to beat.
Indeed he is. I'm about to give a plug for the next real world event happening in New South Wales at the moment. You might recall seeing an article there from Motorsport Australia a few weeks ago saying that race meetings are on hold because of the COVID situation, but the AASA are pressing on. I was talking about Terry Denovan there earlier. He's still working on his next race meeting at this point in time. The AASA sanctioned AMRS series is working out a meeting at Sydney Motorsport Park at the end of the month as well. So if you're in New South Wales, because let's face it, if you're in Queensland, you can't get to New South Wales. If you're in Victoria, you can't get to New South Wales. But if you're in New South Wales, there's plenty of motorsport to look forward to there, and I'll mention some of that for you shortly. Out of the chase one more time. Parry Anastakis is still sitting there fighting off Jackson Rayhana at the moment. I just want to pick up on Dennis Gaderick here coming into Murray's corner. He's got 17th Ben Miller behind him. So Ben's now the last car, well, the first car a lap down. So only 16 cars still on the lead lap at the moment. Ben Miller the first a lap down there, but doing a nice job in the Pro-Am split. Richard Mitchum ahead of him. Actually, I should point out Richard Mitchum's a Pro-Am as well. It's just not listed on the sheet there, folks. So,
Hey, Zach, I've flicked
hello,
on to
Rob.
Ben. I flicked on to Ben because I feel like he's just going to tag on the back of Gaderick here and let him forge away for him because he's been punching his way through the field as it is. I'm interested to see how he goes tucked in back there.
Well, this is it too, because there's something to be learnt through following the best, and we're going to get an idea of where Ben stacks up to Dennis right now. More than that, we're going to get an idea of where the Ferrari stacks up against the BMW as well. And up the top of the mountain, when you get the race leader going by, and there's no one within donkeys of you, I mean, look at him, it's clear air except for Dennis. You'd be silly not to at least try and tag onto the back and follow him through. But already, as you see over the top there, Chris, Dennis has already put a couple of seconds between himself and Ben.
Yeah, he's driving it. You can see how much more of the track he's using over the top as well than what Ben is. Ben's probably a little bit on the conservative side, which isn't a bad thing when you've still got 40 minutes to go in the race. But yeah, Dennis is obviously just in the zone. He's using every millimetre over the top there. But when you're comfortable and confident in the car, you can get away with doing that lap in, lap out.
Just when you think we're starting to get somewhere, you look at the clock and there's still a third of the race to go.
Exactly right. That's what I looked at. How long's that? 40 minutes. Alrighty, I know.
It feels like we've been here for hours.
Race distance. Here we go.
Not even that, because Dennis is going to come around and he's going to clock up about 1:18 and 8 or 9 seconds here. We'll get an idea for you when he comes down under the bridge and across the line this time. We're staying with Ben Miller at the moment. I'm bored with him. He's in 17th place. Nick's up the road. He'll be the next one to go a lap down from Dennis Gaderick. He crossed the line in 1 hour 18 and 9 seconds, so 42 minutes to go. About 20 or 21 laps, depending upon. Actually, no, it'll be closer to 20 by the time I'm taking another pit stop as well. It's lap 38.
Have you ever looked there, Zach?
Yes, Rob.
Ben shaved the second off. Ben shaved the second off following Gaderick around that time. Although still not his best lap of the 206. But still managed to shave down from a 208 to a 207 that lap.
And that could be a multitude of different things. One, following Gaderick and wanting to be part of the chase and just pushing yourself that little bit harder. And it could also be clear air, cooling track, that time of day too. So there'd be 3 or 4 different factors to take into consideration there. Now, I'm going to get this plug in while I can. This Sunday, the next round of Motor Racing Australia, there's a Triumph Super Sprint on the Saturday. Here's Jackson Rayhana in the meantime. He's still chasing Parry Anastakis, so good that we're following Parry at the moment while I talk about MRA. Super TT, which is the category that Parry races in regularly, that's on the agenda, and it's always well supported. It's essentially the New South Wales equivalent of QR Sports as it ends, for those of you that are listening locally. Pulsars, XLs, Legend cars, and also the Mazda MX-5 Cup. Some great top quality racing happening out at Sydney Motorsport Park on Sunday. Make sure, if spectators are allowed, that you get along, and if not, if you're a competitor and you're in one of those categories, make sure you get along as well. Pulsars and XLs, there was an interesting debate over the weekend because I said something along the lines of, the XLs are the best kept secret in not just Queensland motorsport but also Australian motorsport, and I said that because they've got a bit more of a national presence than the Pulsars, but obviously you've got a couple of Pulsar competitors in there. Hello to you, Charlie Viola, if you're tuning in, that are saying, oh no, the Pulsars, crap all over the XLs or whatever they said. The Pulsars is where it's at. And I said, mate, you're brilliant in New South Wales. I love commentating Pulsar racing in New South Wales, but you haven't got a presence in Queensland yet. We need you guys to come up here and showcase it so that people embrace it. But what we have in Queensland, Chris, we've almost got an issue where we've got too many categories. And that is maybe one of the reasons why we just haven't got the Pulsars up off the ground here as yet. Let's watch this battle, and I'll get your thoughts on that in a moment, because grassroots motorsport is always important to talk about, and this is where a lot of the stars that are on your screen tonight stem from, ladies and gentlemen. Grassroots motorsport. Parry Anastakis still doing a great job of holding off Jackson Rayhana here as they make their way through the dipper one more time. Really good stuff from Parry Anastakis to answer the challenge, to respond to the pressure that's mounting from Jackson Rayhana behind him. And I dare say when we chat to the 57 at the end of the race, he'll be a little bit filthy, ladies and gentlemen, with the incident that he got caught up in at the toe of the mountain straight after his first pit stop, because that really put pay to the rest of his race. Now, no spectators, unfortunately, for the MRA, but the Pulsars are oversubscribed. So if you want to watch a full fleet of Pulsars rip and tear around Sydney Motorsport Park, get you tune in to NatSoft Live Timing on Sunday, and hopefully I know they've had live streaming for the MRA events in the past, so it's a shame that we're living in an era as Jackson Rayhana comes into the pit lane one more time. That'll be his final pit stop. That'll get him through to the end of the race now. It's quite a shame, I must say, in a COVID era where we've got no spectators able to go and out and enjoy grassroots motorsport. But what are your thoughts on grassroots, Chris? Obviously, too many categories to choose from in Queensland. The Pulsars are brilliant in New South Wales, and the XLs are brilliant everywhere.
Yeah, look, a lot of categories to choose from, exactly right. But one of the things that I think we're both on the same page with is if you consider XLs, well, we've got 2 XL series in Queensland.
Michael Hammond in the pit lane as well. Go on, mate.
Yeah, with quite a bit of damage there as well. So it's just that's why he's come in. He's obviously binned it somewhere over the top. But I mean, only the other week we had XLs out at Morgan Park and the XLs at QR at the same time. So I mean, there's got to be a little bit of common sense there in trying to merge some of these classes. We don't need 2 XL classes. Yeah, they produce some great racing. They produce some pretty average driving on the weekend as well, I might add. But that's another story. XLs are never. There's some of the good guys and there's some of the less desirable guys in there. But that is what it is. I will say I did have a little chuckle with Paul Morris's little tongue-in-cheek comments regarding a few of the cars who may have had a little bit more horsepower than other cars. It almost seemed like I know you're cheating because my car's cheating, yours is faster than mine. That's sort of what I was interpreting from how he was responding and how he was acting. But allegedly, of course.
Well, this is right. Yeah. Need to retract something I said there. I said the MRA meeting was Sydney Motorsport Park. It's actually Wakefield Park in Goulburn, but the same rule applies. No spectators, unfortunately. However, do tune in via that Stop and Catch live time in there. 44 entries in that Pulsar field, which is quite extraordinary. It's where the XLs want to be in New South Wales, but are in every other state of the country. So Pulsars in New South Wales, XLs right around Australia. Two of the best single mate categories in the country in terms of entertainment, and not only that, but also affordable grassroots motorsport. Car off in the dipper, and Jackson Rayhana has found the wall again. That's the second time today,
and straight out of the pits again as well.
Well, exactly. Something about coming out of the lane. I don't think it's cold tyres. It can't be cold tyres.
I don't think he's taken tyres again then. It was quite a quick stop, but you'd be surprised how much the tyres do cool down when you're sitting there in the pit lane. I mean, it's a 26 or 29 second full fuel for him. So you do lose a bit of tyre temp, which in some instances can give you a little bit more grip than what you were expecting before. So pretty easy to get caught out with it. But yeah, I suppose it's
big move down the inside from from Brenton Hobson. Straight down the inside went Hobbo, and that's because Jackson Rayhana now finds himself a lap down. He's a lap down because of that incident. Of course, Gaderick's already gone through. Rayhana stuck, and now he's a lap down. He'll be kicking himself, there's no doubt about that. And he'll be following Brenton Hobson through here, hoping. And that's a nice, cool shot that we're only seeing for the first time tonight from the Turn 1. Very nicely done. Adam Lavis has been hard at work putting the cameras together for tonight's broadcast. We appreciate his hard work as per usual. Rayhana will be trying to just persevere with it and stay out there as best he can now. Nick's gone a lap down as well. So Nick's sitting 13th, a lap down. Only the top 12 remain on the lead lap. However, Dennis Gaderick yet to stop a second time here. So we wait for Dennis's final pit stop, and we see where things play out. But it's looking like a Ferrari day. It's looking like a Gaderick day. And again, I'm looking to see where they are on incident points at the back end of this. Because that could be the difference between Gaderick and Hobson winning this title. And it comes back to Gaderick having the superior qualifying form, putting it on pole, grabbing the 10 bonus points tonight. How key could that extra 5, given it's a double points round all across the board, how key could that prove to be in the closing stages here? Have a look at it. 25 past 5 on the mountain. And we are still over 35 minutes away from the checkered flag being waved here.
And it does get dark really quickly around here as well. So you'll notice as the sun's setting, you get a beautiful shot of it actually from the chase view coming out of the chase. There's a great shot of the sunset over in the distance there. But you'll notice around here once it starts to get dark, it tapers off very, very quickly. So that's going to be an interesting one as well. And if you think about the 12-hour, obviously starts in the dark and then develops into the into the sunlight. Whereas having it this way, you've got a track that's going to start to come on with tyres that are going off. So catch a few people out, might overdrive it a little bit and utilise the grip that should be there, but you might not necessarily have the mechanical grip at that point in time.
Two things to note here as the car in 18th position, that's Dylan Gray in the 002 comes into the lane. He actually wanted to give a shout out, and I'm going to let him do it when he comes in and joins us post race. He wanted to give us a wrap and a compliment and a thank you to the guys that put his livery together tonight. So well done to them, because it does look absolutely spectacular. I'm going to let Dylan tell you more about that though a little bit later on.
I'm just going to jump in quickly here, Zach. If you have a look on your screen there, we don't have Paul Nichols in his seat anymore.
Oh no!
He's just jumped up out of his seat. He's taken his gloves off, and there was quite a few shakes of the head as he's walked off. So, dare I say, we might be hearing from him in the next 5 minutes or so.
Yep, most likely.
It depends which way that goes.
Let me just.
Another slice of cola.
That's it.
That's exactly right. Now, he was running, I'm just having a look for it. Oh, dear. 001. He was a lap down. He was 25th. I'm not sure what's happened. I don't have him on my screen at the moment, but I do now. And because I'm still letting him away around Discord. But yes, you're right. No Paul Nichols in his driver's seat at the moment. I don't know if Rob can show a shot of that. Paul Nichols was all suited up, all ready to go a little bit earlier, but now he's no doubt off pouring himself a post-race wine.
It's actually...
and he'll be in to have a post-race wine with us at some point very shortly, I'm sure, Chris.
Yeah, it's actually quite odd. I'm just on board with him, and he's just randomly pulled over coming into the chase. So whether it's been summoned by the Minister of War and Finance or similar, I'm not too sure. It's really, he hasn't hit a wall or anything. It didn't sound like it was coughing. He's just pulled over and stopped. Not sure.
Yeah, very, very interesting. He'll be frustrated. There's no doubt about that. He always loves racing around Mount Panorama, and he was very excited about the prospect. Dennis Gaderick's in the lane. Dennis Gaderick is in the lane. The car that was in 5th place as well is leaving the lane. That was Parry Anastakis. So Parry's come in. Nico's in the lane, obviously. We've got Dennis Gaderick in the lane getting topped up, ready to rock and roll. Maybe it was fuel. That's the only other thing I could think of, Chris. Maybe it was fuel if he's pulled up in the chase. It's a very weird spot to pull up.
In the cutting, mate. In the cutting, but I didn't hear it have a...
in the cutting. My apologies. I thought you said in the chase. Yeah, righto.
I probably did. I meant to say the cutting, but so... Gaderick back out on track as well, and I'm actually surprised he didn't take the boots there. Maybe he doesn't know how much of
maybe he doesn't need it.
Yeah, that's it exactly. So
well, that's the thing too, because we've been talking about it all throughout the season, haven't we? That the tyres don't hurt as much in GT racing as they do, say, in stock cars or supercars.
Yeah, exactly right. You can, I mean, from what I'm seeing here, I reckon he's triple stinted these tyres, and they'll be fair dead by the end of the race. But again, it's going to save him that 25 or 26 or whatever it was seconds to just do the tyre change alone. So I guess it's a bit of a risk mitigation thing as well. If he's got someone in his ear telling him that Hobbo's 27 seconds back, well, hey, Hobbo doesn't take the tyres, he's right on the back of him and might be able to force an error as well. So, double-edged sword there.
His pace
Indeed it is.
exceptional too. You see his last lap there, 25 laps.
He's got bloody good pace still, yeah.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with the 205 at this end of the day. I was going to go back to what Chris was saying about, and this is just going to start open the can of worms, obviously, what Chris was saying about 12-hour conditions as opposed to this race. This is more 6-hour when you think about it, because the 12-hour happens in summer, so 5:30 in the afternoon, still daylight, whereas the 6-hour at Easter, post-daylight saving, everyone's back on normal time. You lose that time. You end up with the sun going down just around that 5:30, 6 o'clock mark. We've seen the 6-hour end in the dark on a couple of occasions, with lights ablaze and everything else. We're heading for exactly the same setup here, because this simulator is set up for today, the 7th of September. And as I said at the top of the broadcast, sunset in Bathurst was due for 5:48. So you are going to see these cars crossing the line pretty much in the dark. There will be a little bit of natural light still around the place. It's going to be a dark finish, which is good fun, Rob.
Hey Zach, do you know if Nick's done his last pit run yet?
I'm not sure, if I'm perfectly honest with you, because as I said, my in-race graphics that Adam Lavis helped set up aren't working tonight. They just didn't want to play ball, but he is showing intent at the moment. And yes. I think he's got one stop to go. In the Twitch chat,
In the Twitch chat, we were following Ben Miller closely behind Nick, and then Ben pulled in for his pit, so we're just trying to work out whether Nick's had his pit run yet or not.
Okay. I'm going to jump in here, boys, because, again, I'm not sure if Nick's made his pit, but we'll find out shortly. I'm going to read you the stewards report that I've just been sent by Michael Porter. This is the report so far. So, Yanni had contact with Emmerich Candola on lap 2. It was deemed a racing incident. Yanni made contact with Emmerich at turn 2. Deemed a racing incident, play on. Ben Miller had an incident on lap 4, which will be a post-race investigation. I'm not sure of the details of the incident. On lap 13, Jamie Welch and Jared Daly, net code contact. Michael Hammond was trying to redress a previous incident on Jared Daly, and Jamie went for the gap. Net code contact between Jared and Jamie. There's been no jurisdiction handed out on that. Jackson Rayhana and David Trevathan. This is all worded by Michael Porter and worded beautifully, I might admit. Brenton Hobson leads this race. Now he's coming to the pit lane. Brenton Hobson in the pit lane. I might come back to Michael Porter's stewards report. We appreciate him sending that through to us.
There too.
Hammond in the wall. That's not ideal. And it's not the first time he's been caught up in an incident tonight.
It looks as though he's actually T-boned someone coming onto the straight, not just by himself.
Oh no! Also in the wall there was a car on that was being lapped by Dennis Gaderick as well. Coming onto the main straight. So there have been 2 cars find the wall, one on the inside, one on the outside on the main straight there at Murray's Corner. Michael Hammond in the lane, and he's manually disconnected. I'm just reading now. So Michael said, "Yep, that's it. I've had enough. I'm gone." And, he's the latest retirement. Brenton Hobson in the lane. Dennis Gaderick should take the lead back here as Brenton fuels to get to the finish. Fuel, tyres, whatever the case may be, out he goes. There's Richard Hunter doing a nice job at the moment. Now this is for this will put him in 3rd, and depending upon where Brenton Hobson rejoins the circuit, forget about Dennis. He's in the cutting. He's gone. I want to see where Brenton Hobson is when he returns to the track, because that'll give us an indication as to whether we're going to have a 3-way fight here or not. No, I don't. I think Richard's too far behind. I think Brenton's back out on the racetrack.
Yeah, Gaderick's coming into the S's. Hobbo is just coming into Solomon Park, so he's got a good, healthy lead there.
Right, yep. So Gaderick in the S's, Hobbo and Sylvan Park, and you're on board Richard Hunter going up towards the cutting. So Richard Hunter a clear 3rd now, 4 seconds clear of Yanni Soteroyo, and then of course Ross Ponting, Paul Wood, Michael Schreier, Maverick Benson, then Nico Pop and Nick Windsor making up the top 10, but we believe Nick O'Pop has to stop one more time. Paul Nichols has disconnected his camera, but he is still there online for us. We'll get to him in a moment. I just want to get back to the stewards report from Michael Porter and run through everything that's happened in this race so far. There isn't much. I was talking about the incident on lap 18 between Jackson Ray Hunter and David Trevathan. As Jackson went to lap Dave at Skyline, Dave hit the wall and made contact with Jackson. Not respecting the blue flags was the decision, and therefore he copped the drive-through penalty to Dave Trevathan. Kim Forer on Jared Daly. This was at Skyline. Kim lost control at Skyline, made contact with Jared, but it was deemed a racing incident. And on lap 35, Rick Vincent on Kim Forer. Rick made rear contact with Kim at the chase, and the decision was a drive-through penalty for Rick Vincent. At the moment, we can tell you that there are just 13 cars on the lead lap. There are a fair few in a growing list of retirements here, one of whom is Paul Nichols, but he's back in the commentary box with us. Mate, what happened?
Where do I start, Zach? Where do I start? I think it's lap 2, I got involved in an incident up the top of the mountain, coming out of the cutting, 2 cars wide in front of me. It's like that never works. They hit each other and then caused me to run into them. And then I was trying to set the fuel up, and my button that I set up for doing the fuel also makes me look left, and ran off the track, hit the wall, did that twice, and just like I thought, nah, it's not my night tonight. I'll just put it in the pits and watch the broadcast and grab a cold one.
Very good call, I'd say. Now, I can't tell live incident points. I'm wondering if you might be able to help me out, and if we've got any donuts in amongst the field so far, Nico.
Yeah, we'll do.
Thank you, mate. And at the moment, you're watching Dennis Gaderick come down through on the run towards Forest Elbow. And he'll be coming onto Conroy straight as the clear leader here. 25 seconds up his sleeve at the moment as Ferrari put on an absolute show here on the mountain. Down Conrod. Brilliant track cam there. Paul
so, 0 incidents. We've got Adam Maverick, or Adam Labus.
Yep.
Richard Mitchum, 0.
Yep.
Down the field, Brenton, 0. Who else is still running? Nick Windsor. Richard Hunter. Yanni as well, and Dylan Gray. Well done, Dylan.
Indeed, he's been trying for a donut, hasn't he?
Absolutely, and we've given him a task to try and do a whole race and not get an incident, so he's doing really well.
He's doing a great job. So did you say Brenton Hobson was the donut?
Let me just double check. Where is Brenton? Yep, he's 0. Yep.
And Dennis Gaderick?
Dennis, let me find Dennis. Where is Dennis here?
488.
488. Yeah, 0 as well.
Okay. Now, the only reason I asked that, Nico, is because with Dennis getting pole position, that narrowed the championship gap because of the bonus points for pole tonight. Everything being bonus, he got 10 bonus points rather than 5. So that narrowed the championship gap to 3 points. If they go through without donuts, It's purely a matter of the difference in points between first and second. I'm not sure if it's 2 points, 3 points, and what that means in terms of the context of the championship. But of course, if Dennis outscores Brenton by 4 points in this race, he'll win the championship by 1 or more points, which is just extraordinary to think that it's coming down to the final 20 minutes here.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, Brendan was talking about it after last week's race, how close it was up the front. So I'm sure they're both gunning for the 0 incident points because they know how important that is. So I think getting the Q incident points, the qualification points, that's obviously critical as well. So yeah, it's going to be very close. Indeed
it is. Up over the top one more time. Brenton Hobson driving a nice clean race there. We've picked up the 69. That'd be Lazy Dave Farrell, would it not? Up over the top. 69. Yep, Lazy Dave Farrell is sitting there in 24th place at the moment. He's 2 laps down, and he is ahead of Emmerich Candola. Now, I don't know what's happened there to Emmerich.
Emmerich dropped out before.
Oh, he dropped out, did he? Oh, jeez.
Yeah. So he has
So he had a Glenn Postlethwaite, is what you're telling me.
He had a posse, exactly right. Speaking of which, I thought Posy was supposed to be gracing us with his presence in this race. I'm not sure what happened there.
What happened there, Paul Nichols?
Yeah, I don't know. He said he was going to join, but I'm not sure whether something else has come up in real life. But yeah,
quite possibly. Yeah. Now there goes Emmerich down the inside.
He could have had a tech issue like everyone else tonight.
Yeah, exactly. So he's got him halfway down Conrod. Nicely done. But the race is pretty much fried, dead and buried for Emmerich Candola as Farrell tucked him behind there. Through the chase one more time, back around onto the main straight, they'll come. What a performance this has been from Dennis Gaderick. I mean, seriously, 25.5 seconds he leads this race by. Richard Hunter is up in 3rd place. Ferrari's 1 and 3. They're 4th with Yanni Sortorio. That's just extraordinary. And Ross Ponting rounds at the top 5 in the Merc. So we wondered where BMW would factor into this tonight. They don't have a car in the top 5. They don't have a car in the top 8. Nick Windsor, the 185, he's the first BMW in 9th. That's just extraordinary.
It's really surprising.
That BMW have dominated so much of this season. I mean, yes, Ferrari have 4 wins, BMW have 4 wins, but BMW have been always there. And they're not in the top 8 with, 20 minutes to go, just under 19 minutes to go.
Sorry, Gaderick's just had a massive moment. I reckon he might have just dropped the wheel and picked up an incident there coming down the hill.
I think you're right.
It's going to be very close to an incident there.
It's still showing 0 on my screen.
It is showing 0. Oh, he's got away with that one.
I just tell you what.
Probably a 0x, I'd say.
I was watching the iRacing server, and my iRacing screen's just gone very glitchy on me in the last half hour, so I'm literally relying on that for stats rather than anything else. And Rob's feed is finally feeding through crystal clear, so let's hope it stays that way. Dennis Gaderick, so close to ruining the perfect race, and it has been. Qualified on pole position, he's probably clocked the fastest lap of the race. He leads it by 25.8 seconds. And there is the car in 13th at the moment. That is, of course, Warwick Sharp, the 222. He's the first car a lap down at the moment. Jackson Rayhana's about to go a lap down. In fact, may have already gone a lap down. No, there he is on the main straight. There he's about 4 or 5 car lengths ahead of Dennis Gaderick at the moment. So Rayhana's about to go a lap down. He's still sitting 11th, though. And Parietta Starker, 17 seconds up the road, is still sitting 10th at this point in time and doing a bang-up job. There is the car in 14th, Ben Miller. Very nicely done. We were wondering about Nick, whether he had another pit stop or not. He did. He's now sitting down in 19th, but still a long way to go here. Nico, are you as surprised as we are that we've not had a safety car as yet?
Yeah, I thought that incident I was involved in might have caused a safety car. I'm not sure the track was blocked at that stage, but I think Michael would have had a look at whether you could get past, and I think everyone did pretty well getting past. So,
yeah, indeed. We were hoping for a safety car just to bunch things up, because at the moment there's not really much to talk about out there. Apart from maybe the battle, if we can find it, between Michael Schreier and Maverick Benson, because there's just a tenth of a second separating them. You know, that's car 30 and car 151. That's Mercedes up against Ferrari right there. That's 2 of the pro cars going at it for 7th in this race. There's Lazy Dave Farrell in the 25th position at the moment. So Michael Hammond out. He's just one of a long list of retirements here tonight. Let's go through them, shall we? Obviously, Paul Nichols has dropped out of the server. Michael Hammond has dropped out of the server. We know that Dave Trevathan, Pete Matson, Johannes Koch, Todd Parks, Brett Selbywood, Brendan Whittaker, Scott Griffiths, and Daniel Aish have all dropped out of the server as well. There is Maverick Benson. Now, I'm interested to see what's going on here because he was... Yeah, this is going to be a change of position here. Maverick Benson's dropped all the way down, and Michael Schreier's got clear air. So I think Maverick Benson's either run into trouble on the last lap. He was right there in a positional fight with Michael Schreier. He's either been in an incident or into the pit lane, one or the other. And this is the thing too. You look at this. Dennis Gattering has just started lap 50, right? 1 hour 44 in the books. There's another 8 laps in this race, boys. So it's going to be a 57 lap race by my clock, because you'll get back to the line and start the last lap with maybe a minute and a half to go. So there's another 8 laps in this race if it runs caution free. That gets us to 57. Has everybody got enough fuel? Has everybody banked on this being a green flag run all the way to the checkered flag? And that could be the telling point. There could be some fuel saving going on in this closing quarter of an hour here on the mountain. Now, Maverick Benson, since he's no longer chasing Michael Schreier, he is chasing Nick Windsor. Nick Windsor is the next target. They're following each other, one line of stern through the S's the Dipper. You're watching them via the ocular aerial shots here. Now down into the elbow. Nick Windsor doing a nice job of holding off Maverick Benson at the moment, but let's see what the Ferrari's got in the straight there. There's a car off to the left-hand side, but it's out of harm's way, so we won't worry too much about that. There is Nick Windsor doing a nice job. 9th position at the moment, holding off Maverick Benson. This is for the last spot in the top 10. These are the last 2 cars on the lead lap here on the mountain. It's getting very dark here at Mount Panorama. We are edging ever so closer to 6 o'clock track time. 9:25, I think, is when we wrap things up here as far as the race is concerned. We started a few minutes later than we'd anticipated. Benson, can he fire it down the inside going into Murray's? He has a look, but he thinks better of it. He tucks back in, he yields for the moment. He says, no, I'll get you somewhere where it's safer to do so. I won't risk the incident points, won't risk the carnage. And he tucks back in and he follows through. Held corner on the run up. Mountain straight. Nick Windsor doing a nice job. I tell you who else is doing a nice job. Bang up job. Parry to start a second in the Pro-Am field. Sitting there 8th outright. Young, the leader of the Pro-Am, in 4th. And he's been on song all night. And he suspected that would be the case, Chris Whittaker. What's been impressive tonight is to see how these Pro-Am guys stack up against the pros, with the hope that we might see a few of these guys join the pro field for the next season. And obviously we're hoping that your good self will be back on the grid as well. But Yanni come out and set the pace early in practice, did the same in qualifying, and he's maintained that consistency, that performance right throughout the course of the evening, hasn't he?
Yeah, exactly right, mate. He's only 3 seconds back from Richard Hunter at the moment as well, so anything can happen there. If he's taking care of his tyres, he might be in a position to have a bit of a lob a little bit in a couple more laps time. So we'll see what happens there. But he's done bloody well. I mean, P4 in a field like this as a Pro-Am driver, tip your hat to him.
Indeed you do. Dennis Gattering, Ben Brenton Hobson, Richard Hunter, Yanni, and then Ross Ponting, the top 5. We are watching this battle between Nick Windsor and actually, I'm just having a look. I think we've changed shots. Yeah, no, we've gone up to Brenton Hobson now. So Brenton Hobson in 2nd position here. And he heads up over the top of the mountain. Trent Lavis, you must be disappointed that you weren't able to get back to Brisbane in time to be in amongst this fun, because the BMW could have actually flown the flag for BMW tonight.
Yeah, it would have been interesting to see how it would have went. I'm pretty rusty, to be honest. Be driving a very undergripped, underpowered car compared to one of these things. And
yep.
But it would have definitely been a lot of fun to get out there and get amongst the boys and have a bit of fun.
Looking forward to revealing, of course, for the viewers at home, the 2020 Season 3 calendar, which will be starting on September 21. So these guys will have a week off next week. Pre-qualifying will be underway. We'll tell you more details regarding that. And then we'll go racing again, the 45-minute races that we're so used to on a Monday night. back on the agenda, September 21. You don't want to miss that. Out of the cutting. There's Nick. In the thick of it at the moment. Now, he's sitting down in 19th place. He's got the car that's 7th, Michael Schreier ahead of him. The car behind him is... I'm not 100% sure who that is. I haven't got a good enough shot of it yet. There's a car off to the right-hand side there. The car in 18th it is. Oh, of course, that's...
It's Dylan.
Dylan Gray, yeah. But, Nico, I'm going to let Dylan tell us about his livery because I know he wants to talk that up, but it's one of the better liveries out there tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. Julian Mucky designed it for him, which is fantastic. So it's based on the Black Panther. Dylan's a big fan. So as we know, the character passed away last week.
That's right.
And Dylan wanted to do a tribute livery. And fantastic livery by Julian. Really hats off to Julian for doing that for Dylan.
Two of Dylan's favourite things, the Black Panther and Mount Panorama Bathurst, combining in a big way. Yeah,
and talking to you as well.
Well, I was going to say, he'd be one of a few that considers that a highlight. Fair dinkum. Dennis Gaderick, stop it. Brenton Hobson and Richard Hunt in the top 3. We are inside the final 15 minutes here. In fact, about to go inside the final 10 minutes of this race. The intensity, the drama, it's lacking a little bit now because the field is so well spread out.
Have a look at the battle here with Yanni, though, and Richard Hunter.
I was going to say, we need to pick up that battle for third in a moment. There's Rick Vincent just coming out of Hell Corner as well. The battle for fourth and third. Richard Hunter and Yanni Sortoriu. He's sitting there only about 1.4 seconds off. There's the shot. It tells the story for you. One in the wall on the exit of the dipper. On the outside there, but Richard Hunter doing a nice job to hold off Yanni at the moment, and this is Ferrari against Ferrari, it's important to know.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're going to have 3 Ferraris in the top 4, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, I think through the season you can see how Dennis has done really well during the season. Brenton to be up there in the top of this field in the Mercedes. I mean, you can obviously tell the BOP difference there when you have drivers of a similar standard. So for Brenton to be 26 seconds down, I'm not sure if something happened to Brenton or he changed tyres when he maybe shouldn't have, or look, I don't know. So interested to talk to him after the race and see how his race was.
Indeed it will. Now just appreciate this for a moment. The difference between Brenton Hobson and Dennis Gaderick after the first round was 17 points. After the second round, it was 43 points. Gaderick has clawed his way back by winning 4 races and remaining consistent over the last 7 weeks to be within 13 points coming into this race. As we said, he got the bonus points for pole. That slimmed the margin a little bit more. He could be about to provide the sting in the tail of the GT3 series. I don't want to call it. I'll call the race winner, but I don't want to call the championship winner until Adam Lavis crunches the numbers for us very shortly, because it is double points, and I'm not aware of the points matrix first, second, third, fourth, unless Nico is aware of what it is.
Yeah, I'm looking it up. So I think 47. 45 from memory. 40.
Now, hang on, stop. Yep. Right there, because 47, 45, that multiplies to be 94 and 90. So on my numbers, and this is just a mere guess at the moment, but on my numbers, with Gaderick getting a 10 bonus points for pole rather than the usual 5, that makes 3. He'll get 4 more in terms of the race result, because they're both going to get 0 on the incidents. So that would mean that, but that being said, this all goes out the window if one gets bonus points for no incidents and one doesn't. But if that's the thing.
So I think I'm just looking at it now. So for winning the race, it's 45.
Okay, so 45 multiplies by 2 to 90. Yep.
And then 5 points for Q for qualifying first, and then 5 for no incident points.
And they double to 10 each.
Yep.
So we're assuming that Brenton and Dennis are going to get 0 incidents, therefore get the 10 bonus points. So that cancels that out. Dennis got the 10 points for pole position. That brings the championship margin back to 3. 45 and 43 for the first and second becomes 90 and 86. By my maths, and I'm a very poor mathematician these days, but by my maths, the way things are, Dennis wins this championship by 1 point.
Wow. If he doesn't have an incident.
If he doesn't have an incident. I want you to keep an eye on the incident. Because if one of them strikes up an incident, game over. If Dennis strikes up an incident, game over, it's Brenton's championship. If Brenton strikes up an incident, game over, it's Dennis's championship. But if they're both on a donut, they both get to the line, and Dennis, because it's 2 points first to second, it becomes 4 points first to second, he will inherit the lead and win the championship by 1 point. And you can put it down to just that pure consistency of being able to win half the races in the championship. Because this will be his 5th win if he does get to the checkered flag. Chris?
Rob, just quickly, mate, can we go to 555 and 887? We've got 0.4 of a second between Yanni and Richard now.
So Yanni's closed the gap. Yanni closed the gap somewhat
right
significantly. It was a second more than that. It was 1.4 about a lap ago. It's now 0.4. You ride with Richard Hunter. This is the difference between a Pro-Am driver being on the outright podium and not. Right here, right now. Back to the main straight. Let's have a look here. Here's another battle developing as well. Finally, some action. This is 8th and 9th. That's Parianastakis coming under pressure from Maverick Benson right now as well. Oh, boy. Where do you look, folks? I just don't know tonight.
Just caught the wall on the exit there by the looks of things, Yanni.
Richard Hunter doing well to hold him off here, but they're coming up towards lap traffic. That's number 1. Number 2, as they make their way down into the chase for what I think will be the 3rd last time. This is just extraordinary. Yanni's unable to find a way through on Richard just yet. Smashes the ripple strip on the exit of 21. Rides it through 22. The run down to 23. Murray's corner. One slip up from Richard, Yanni gets through. Lap traffic gets in the way, Yanni gets through. If Yanni gets compromised by the lap traffic and Richard doesn't, Richard will be clear. Richard will get the 3rd place here. So much to play for in the closing laps. This is really exciting stuff. Up Mountain Straight. 3 laps to go for these guys. Dennis Gaderick has 2.5 to go coming across the top of the mountain. He will get back to the line with about 1 minute and 10 on the clock, and that'll be the difference between this being a 57-lap race and being a 56-lap race. We're going to get to 57, folks. 28.5 laps an hour. That is scintillating speed here. And that's what it goes to show just how many laps you can rack up and how quickly when you get a green flag run for 2 hours, Chris.
Exactly right. And this is going to be interesting. Okay. So the other 2 guys there are actually fighting for 14-15. That's Curtis Porter and Richard Mitchum. So Richard's just sidestepped, done the right thing. Keep out of these guys' way. So saw a hell of a lot of headlines going on coming up Mountain Straight. But
it's a dead set shame for those guys, isn't it? It's a dead set shame for those guys, Chris, because that should have been a fight that was allowed to play out. Unfortunately, Curtis has relinquished it and said, look, 15's okay for me. I don't want to get in the way of these guys. And that's, again, part of the gentleman etiquette that we so richly promote through our broadcasts of the Gentlemen Sim Racing Club races, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Curtis will probably have to give room. Obviously, he'll probably lose time.
Yanni wanted to have a look around on the outside going into the elbow. That wasn't going to work. Now he's in the slipstream going down Conrod Straight. He won't get impeded by the lap car, which is great. He's all out to attack Richard Hunter's tail over the next 2 laps. We ride with him the slipstream. So this is Ferrari versus Ferrari. The battle between Benson and Anastakis is Ferrari versus Ferrari. They're going to have 5 in the top 10 here. And look at Richard Hunter having to fend the inside going into the chase. Can Yanni get the up and under on the exit? No, he can't.
He's got the drive here, but
he's got the drive. Richard Hunter's going to... Oh, no, Yanni wants to squeeze down the inside going into Murray's. Can't do it. It compromises his run on the exit. Richard Hunter holds 3rd with 2 laps to go on the mountain. And the sun rapidly setting here. Lights ablaze as he fires down the inside. Yanni in turn 1. Very lucky not to make any contact there with Richard Hunter. But Richard Hunter, if he wasn't aware that he had a fight on his hands beforehand, he's more truly aware of it now. Holy smokes! A lap and a half to go. Forget about first, forget about second. The fight's for 3rd and 4th, baby. Drew Griffin's for the 2nd last time. Dennis Gaderick is on his way to a smashing victory here and possibly the championship as well. But all eyes are on this. 3rd in the outright fight, the 3rd place pro car, the leader of the Pro-Am cars. And to be perfectly honest, Chris, If you're Yanni, you want that third outright just to prove a point from the Pro-Am perspective, but you don't want to throw it away and risk losing your win in Pro-Am to begin with as well.
Yeah, it's a two-way street line, isn't it?
Yeah.
Exactly right. It's and the thing is with Bathurst, there's not really many places that you can just throw it over the top of a curb and get the advantage out of a quick incident point or anything like that either. So he's really just got to sort of focus on what he's doing, use this toe down the straight here, and work out how he can maybe trick Richard into. Oh, he's in the wall again. That's going to hurt.
Oh, jeez.
So,
Yeah, he did it a lot harder that time as well, and he lost 3 or 4 car lengths in the process, so maybe he's just undone himself. We'll wait and see. Dennis Catterick on Mountain Straight, last lap for him. Go on, Chris.
Yeah, possibly a little bit of aero wash in when he's in behind there for so many laps, pushing him so hard as well. The aero wash or the dirty air can affect obviously the mid corner of the car, but the front tyre's probably starting to hurt from sitting in behind him as well. So might not necessarily be a bad thing. Just give him a little bit of room to play with, have a bit of a breather, and then have a last lap lob at him. So we'll see how this pans out. This could be interesting.
1 lap to go. Gatterick's up in the cutting. We'll let you know when he's coming down Conrod. We'll get to him. You'll see him cross the finish line and take the win here. And what a dominant display it's been. But we need to keep our eyes on this because it's been an exemplary drive from Yanni Sertoriou on the tail of Richard Hunter as he has been for the last 15-16 minutes here. 0.8 of a second is all that splits them. It's been fluctuating between 0.4 and 1.4 for the better part of 3 laps here. Now he's going to go all out on this last lap, and I reckon if he can get close enough, and he's not at the moment, but if he can get close enough, he might just try the hero zero lunge going into the chase. He's closing up as they enter the cutting for the last time. How are these guys on fuel? That's another factor that we need to take into consideration. Dennis Gatterick is on Conrod Straight. Let's go to Gatterick. Let's come back to this when they come onto Conrod. Gatterick is on the main run home now, and he's weaving from left to right. He knows he's got this wrapped up. He's celebrating all the way to the checkered flag. What a performance this has been. 1.25 minutes to 6 truck time. Dennis Gatterick, he swept the North American races in this championship, and maybe, just maybe, by putting Ferrari on top of the mountain, he might just claim the GT3 series in Season 2. Gatterick does it at Bathurst, smashes it out of the park at the mountain. What a performance. Dennis Gatterick, emphatic victory there. Here they come. The battle for third. Forget about Hobson. He'll cross the line. He'll take second. It'll be about 30 seconds the difference there. But we'll stick with the battle for third. Richard Hunter under all sorts of pressure from Yanni coming into the chase for the last time. No, I don't think there's anything Yanni can do here. But what an incredible drive from this young man. Yanni Sertoriou is going to win the Pro-Am split here in the final round of the GT3 series for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. Richard Hunter third, Yanni gets fourth. He does it in Pro-Am on the mountain. And that is 3 Ferraris in the top 4. Final winning margin, 28.8 seconds. From Dennis Gatterick to Brenton Hobson. 2 Mercs in the top 5. Ross Ponting will be the next one across in the top 4 to claim 5th position. In the end, 10th place goes to Jackson Rayhana. He is a lap down. Oh boy, there's Ross Ponting coming across the line to take 5th. I kind of need a breath after all that. That was a lot of fun in the end. Really good contest. The battle for 8th and 9th is also worth keeping an eye on because Parry Anastakis is coming around and Maverick Benson's on his tail. That's again an all-Ferrari fight there. Ferrari have absolutely drilled it tonight on the mountain. There is Michael Schreier coming across in 7th. 20 seconds away will be Parry Anastakis and Maverick Benson. I don't think we'll be able to get a shot of them before they come into the main straight here. There's the car coming across in 21st position. That's Dylan Gray. He'll be happy with that. Now, there's the Pennzoil entry in 31st. That's, of course, Matt Austin. Now, I can tell you that as far as that battle between Maverick Benson and Parry Anastakis is concerned, Maverick got there in the end. Maverick Benson by half a second over Parianastakis. Extraordinary stuff. What a great race. Ross Ponting 5th, Paul Wood 6th, Michael Schreier 7th, Maverick Benson, Parianastakis, and then Jackson Rayhana. Here's Richard Hunter going down the on-rod straight for the last time. Probably going straight. Actually, no, he hasn't gone for the jump. I was somewhat expecting him to go to the jump. I'm waiting for a few more drivers. Can we keep an eye on the chase there? Because I'm expecting a few drivers to come in and play silly buggers. Here's one. Ross Ponting, go on. Fire it. Hey, perfect landing. Go on, Sylvan. Smash into the wall. Hey, it's a fine art. They've kept it clean for 2 hours. I think they're entitled to a little bit of fun right now. Ross Ponting leading the way there. Fantastic stuff. Chris Whitaker, your final thoughts on all of that before we start to wrap things up, because it's touch and go as we see Michael Schreier come under Conrod now to do the same thing, lead the crowd through the jump. It's touch and go. Dennis Gaderick has either just won this championship or just missed out.
It's all going to come down to these incident points. So we'll see how the guys are finished up. But I mean, 1 point at the end of the season on a double points round as well. It's incredible. And when you consider how far Dennis was back at the end of, what was it, the second or third round, down by 30, 40 odd points. To just crawl it back, it's a never give up, never say die attitude. And hey, maybe it's worked for him, maybe it hasn't quite, but regardless, a job well done to all the guys at the top of the field.
Right, here we go. Gary Cousins and Laser Dave Farrelly and Nico Pop and everybody else coming into the chase now. Leading the way. Dave went all right. Gary Cousins. That was Dave going into the wall. Actually, Gary Cousins was the one that landed it okay. And Dave's just been cleaned up like you wouldn't believe. Oh, dear. Paul Wood actually was the first one through. My apologies. I thought it was Gary Cousins. No, it was Paul Wood. Well done, boys. Fantastic stuff. Great show. Really good entertainment there from all and sundry. And we've enjoyed that over 2 hours. So I believe in the end, Dennis Gaderick clocked 57 laps there, ladies and gentlemen, to get to the checkered flag. 57, and he brought it home in a 206.1. In fact, in that last stint, he dropped out of the 204s, 205s. He maintained a regular 205, 206, 207 pace all the way to the checkered flag. And that was the key to success tonight, wasn't it? Consistency, clear track, and he didn't look back. He was never challenged at any point tonight. Once he racked up a 2.5 second lead on the opening lap, it was basically a case of catch me if you can. Trent Lavis, I want to come to you and get your thoughts, because Dennis is one of your mates. You there, Lavis?
Sorry, mate. I just
right.
jumped to go juggle the phone a little bit there. Yeah, Dennis, outstanding drive tonight, mate. He was the man to beat, obviously, tonight, and the man on form. And it goes to show that you put your head down and keep your nose clean, you come out with a really good outcome. So, congratulations to Dennis. What a race! What a win!
And also fastest lap time, I think, 2:04.4.
And are the bonus points for the fastest lap in this series or not, Paul?
No, just Q. Adam, is that correct? Just Q and zero incidents.
Bonus points for fastest lap is next season's points system.
Yeah.
Okay, gotcha. So just because we've been crunching the numbers here without you, Adam Lavis, good evening, welcome. We're right in saying that it's 10 points for pole and 10 points for zero incidents in this bonus points race. Yes.
Yeah, everything's double.
Everything's double. So by my mathematics, and I'm looking forward to seeing you crunch the numbers, by my mathematics, Dennis Gaderick has this championship by 1 point, but I don't want to confirm anything just yet, but that's just my rough mathematics on it. I'm going to let you do your job, and you can let us know when they're ready to reveal.
Hey, Dylan, I just wanted to shout out to Dylan. Well done, mate. I think you had 2 incident points. You had an incident right at the end there, Dylan. And, great livery. I think Zach wanted to ask you about your livery.
Dylan, welcome. I'm gonna get to everyone else in just a moment, but I promised Paul that I'd do
Dylan's
this.
got to go to bed, so.
Well, and this is right. It's a school night. Dylan, we appreciate you sticking around. How'd you go with incident points, mate? Because that was the challenge this week. Did you get one? None? What went on?
Oh, Warwick jinxed me. He said not to get any incident points. Coming onto the front straight, turn 1, I got an incident point. Went into the wall.
Just the one?
2.
2x, yeah.
Mate,
Great drive, mate. Well done.
over 2 hours, though, you've got to be happy with that. I mean, we were praising you at around the 90-minute mark, saying you've got a 0x. That was your goal for the night. But in the end, if I have a look at the results here, I mean, you've held up your end of the deal pretty well, mate. Where were you in the end? Just having looked through the results here. 21st and 22nd. Yeah, 22nd and only a lap down. And there were some really credentialed drivers ahead of you, mate, that have got more experience at this than you do, that were further behind in the order, more laps down. You got to be happy with that.
Yeah, I wasn't very happy. Halfway through the race, my legs started cramping up.
Yeah, we thought
Welcome
that
to
might be an
endurance
issue
racing.
fatigue. Yep.
Sounds like Shane Van Gisberg a couple of years ago.
No, Davey Reynolds actually. That's yeah. Hey, let's throw the conversation around. Dylan, just quickly, because again we know you've got to go on. This post-race show could go on for a little while because there's a lot to get through. What'd you make of the race, mate? Because at times there it looked like you were in the thick of battle. At other points there it looked like you were just working on consistent laps and 0 incident points and getting towards the finish. What'd you make of 2 hours around a place that you love oh so much? We know this because you've been begging for Bathurst every single week and every single race, and you'd do it if it was.
Oh, pretty much. I could easily do about 4 hours if my leg didn't cramp up.
I got the easy job with the commentary, but
You need some salt tablets, Dylan.
exactly.
Yeah.
As for the race, mate, overall, how'd you fare? How are you happy with 21st? Are you happy with the result? Are you happy with the outcome?
Yeah, I'm very happy with the outcome. Going up like against Nick in the pro with all the pro drivers and that,
Yep.
learning everything from them, where they are quick, where I can improve everything.
Yeah, no, well done, mate. Fantastic. Obviously, a few more races to come this week. What's your attention turned to next? Because I believe it's Supercars for the up-and-comers on Wednesday night, is it not? The Legacy Supercars?
Yeah, it's the supercars around Bathurst again, and I got another special livery that Julian's doing for me.
Actually, let's just touch on that because Paul mentioned it in the broadcast, and I promised that I'd let you have a crack at it as well. Julian Muckey's done a great job here, hasn't he?
Yeah, he has done a really good job in that, and I would like to say a big thank you to him in that for doing it and that for me.
Yeah, no, absolutely well done. Obviously, there are some people, as Chris Whitaker would know, there are some people that are really good in the graphics department in terms of putting liveries together. I say Chris because he does one every week, and they're the difference between the real flash presentation that you get on your screen and the stock standard iRacing liveries that they dish out. And well done to Julian Muckey, a great job there. Dylan, we'll let you go on that note, mate. Let's chat again on Wednesday night, and then I think you're also going to run the production cars on Friday night, are you not?
Yeah, I am. And that hopefully I can do the exact same like tonight, but without the spin.
Yeah, exactly right. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Nice effort. 21st place. Now, let's move the conversation around. I want to go to our Pro-Am boys firstly. Harry Anastakis, I'll come to you in a moment. Ben Miller's in here as well, Richard Mitchum as well. But Yanni Sortorio, mate, fantastic performance from you. Unbelievable effort. I mean, we've been sitting here riding the wave of your drive for the last half an hour, it feels. What an incredible fight between you and Richard Hunter. You're only 0.6 of a second away there in the end. It felt as though if you didn't clip the wall at the elbow on 2 consecutive laps, you might have just had a chance to get him. Not without giving it a crack and having a look down the inside. Richard knew you were there, but you've got to be happy being the first Pro-Am home in the field by 1.25 minutes, it's important to note. The icing on the cake of a brilliant championship win for you in the Pro-Am division, mate. Well done.
Thank you very much. That race was, that last stint was like qualifying laps every single lap to try and catch up to Richard. I managed to catch him, and I'm like, one thing's going to be catching him, the other thing's going to be passing him, as we found out. So, yeah, clipping those the barriers there didn't help my cause at all. But glad it gave you some good footage. That's a positive. So, yeah, it's been great. It was an awesome race. So had a lot of fun.
Indeed. Obviously, it was always going to be a long shot for anyone to beat you tonight in terms of the points fight, mate, given it was double points, given that your advantage was already over 100. If it wasn't a double points race, you would have had it wrapped up, locked and sealed. But we just needed you to finish, essentially, tonight, grab a couple of points. You've done that. What's next for you in terms of the Gentleman Sim Racing Club and the GT3 Series? Does this now mean that you'll come up and have a crack in the Pro Sim for the next season?
Definitely. I'll definitely give it a crack and looking forward to it. So, tonight was great fun mixing it with the pro guys as well. So, had an absolute ball. I had that incident on the first lap, second lap, I can't remember now, which was a bit of a shame with Ahmed. Hopefully, it didn't cause him damage or anything like that. But yeah, looking forward to the pro split and seeing what can be done there.
Chris Whitaker, I know you're looking forward to getting back into the swing of things as well. Will we see you in the pro split next season? I mean.
If I can pull my finger out and do the right lap time, you will. I'll be having a crack at it. That's for damn sure. So. We'll get in there next week and or the rest of this week, get some practice in for the pre-qual and see if we can make this top split.
Indeed, it was. It's sunset on the mountain. The moon's up. The clouds are gone. It's a beautiful night in Bathurst, and we're celebrating our champions in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Season 2 GT3 Series. Yanni, I'll come back to you for a moment, mate. We were very impressed when we opened the server and saw you punching numbers out. Absolutely. Bang, bang, 204s, straight out of the blocks, setting the benchmark for which others should follow. And then the pro split guys came in and saw you, and you were, I think it was, did you start third on the grid? Were you impressed with how you stacked up against the pro guys right from the start? And then what was the difference between obviously taking one lap pace and applying that for 2 hours?
Yeah, it was. To be honest, didn't think I would have started third. I would have thought the pro guys would have been into the 203s for sure, like the low 203s, like Dennis, aka the Freak, was.
Yes.
I don't know how he got that time. That's impressive. But yeah, look, between quali and race, it's a different setup. The car's a different setup, and your mindset's totally different as well. So you got to last 2 hours. We did 2 hours without changing tyres, so they're pretty average at the end of it. With quali, you can do a couple of flying laps and virtually change them. So, big difference.
Indeed it is. Hey, AFL fans, just quickly, Fremantle getting the job done over Melbourne in Monday Night Football at Kazali Stadium in Cairns, 6-11-47 to 4-9-33 for AFL fans out there. First time I've been able to mention that tonight. Yanni, hang there, mate. We're going to come back to you a little bit later on as the champion-elect in Pro-Am. Parry Anastakis, mate, very impressive. You and Maverick Benson for the last 15 minutes or so, they're in a dogfight for the eighth outright position and obviously second in Pro-Am. Well done on that. Ferrari dominant tonight, 5 in the top 10.
Nice, thank you. I'm exhausted. That last stint with Maverick, the stint with Jackson, I was sort of missing it with the pro guys there and having fun and learning from them as well. So it was a good experience. I did get tangled up first lap, I think it was. I think Paul was involved as well. I think we were pushing a little bit too hard for positions there. Otherwise, it could have been a little bit of a better result as well.
Sure. Hey, what takes it out of you more? 2 hours on your own in the sim or 3 hours of driving and crewing in the Wakefield 300, mate? Because we've got your good mate Terry Denovan tuning in tonight.
Yeah, I know he's been messaging me. Well done, Terry. Look, I think sim racing is harder, to be honest. The concentration with the 300s, you get a driver change.
Yeah.
You've got some time to think. We get safety cars in the 300s, so you get a breather, you get a time for a drink. I didn't have time for a drink today. I forgot in the pit stops to have a drink. It was all happening today. It didn't feel like a sim today. I'll tell you that much.
No, I was going to say we were all very impressed with the exemplary driving from all and sundry. The fact that this went safety car free for 57 laps. Well done to all involved. Parry, hang there for a moment. I'm going to come back to you. I believe we've got Richard Mitchum and Ben Miller in here as well. Just looking down through the field, the Pro-Am split. Ben, 13th outright. Are you happy with that?
Yeah, mate. Yeah, that was as good as I was going to get. Pretty much. I got caught up in that first accident Parry was talking about, where he got turned around by someone, and we actually all did quite well to get through it without too much drama. I think I went into the back of Paul a little bit, and then we all sort of backed off. And but then about 2 laps later, I got tangled up with someone who come into the wall. I sort of tried to go around him and ended up getting spun into the wall myself. So that put me back near last, I think, when I pitted. So it was had to work pretty hard to get back up to that 13th. But I worked out sort of towards the end of it that I think I was third for Pro-Am. I think I finished in, so I just backed off and just cruised through the rest of the race because Parry and Yanni were way ahead. So yeah, no, that was good.
Indeed. Let's also ask Richard, because we had you on screen there for a little while as well, Richard. I'm starting to forget who exactly you were in the fight with, but in the end, you were only a second and a half away from Curtis Porter, one of the pro drivers there. You had Jamie Welch right on your tail towards the end too. 15th it's showing here. Are you happy with the result there? I mean, it was the logjam. That was you, Ben, Curtis, and Jamie Welch all in a dogfight there in the closing stages.
Yeah, super happy. I don't think I had the outright pace of some of these other guys, especially like Ben. I just managed to keep out of trouble the whole race, 0 incidents at all. I actually let Curtis pass because I think he had a lot better pace, but in hindsight probably shouldn't have, because he clobbered the wall, and I think for that last 5 laps I probably had the pace on him after he had a bit of damage. But he drove really well, some nice clean racing. I didn't want to throw away a nice solid result for one extra place against one of the pro drivers. So we both played it pretty clean. But yeah, super happy around here. Not done the laps that a lot of these other guys have.
Well, this is exactly right. You were saying to us last week that whilst all the Aussies absolutely rave about Mount Panorama, it was unfamiliar territory for you, but you handled it well.
Yeah, just played it safe, didn't take tyres, just thought I'd keep it all in my own hands and keep a nice safe pace. And it seemed to work. Yeah, all good. Pretty happy with that.
Stick there, mate, because I want to have a chat to you Pro-Am boys a little bit later on about coming up and joining the pros for the next series. We'll have final championship points for you very shortly. Paul Nichols, I just want to come back to you. Is there a mandate or a little point of interest with regards to the Pro-Am drivers and progression up into the pro split for the next series? Are there any guidelines or regulations that you need to adhere by?
We're going to do a pre-quali, but I think the plan is the top 20 from Pro-Am will get automatic entry into Pro. So we're probably only going to run 2 servers next season. Sorry, so a kind of a Pro split, Pro-Am split, and then an amateur split.
Okay, and on that note, I'll get one of you, Nick or Paul, whoever's got access to it, to send through the AM splits when we get time to run through them. We'll also run through their championship points, because Adam Lavis is very busy crunching the numbers at the moment. It's not easy because tonight he's got Pro and Pro-Am in the same server and trying to award separate points. Of course, not an easy thing to do. Let's move from Pro-Am to Pro and talk to our top 2, because they started 1 and 2 on the grid. They brought it home 1 and 2. And Dennis Gadderick, congratulations, mate. A very, very comprehensive, dominant performance from you tonight. The Ferrari is just too good. 28-second victory, which, from memory, I think is just around about the same time that Brenton smashed everyone by in the last 2-hour race here. 5th win of the championship. First one outside of a North American circuit, because you locked out the 4 North American races of the championship. The icing on the cake of what could be championship glory, mate. Well done.
Oh, thanks, mate. Really appreciate it. Just kind of shows how much sort of faster the Ferrari got and how much slower the Merc got, I reckon, because obviously we saw last season how much the track suits Brenton, and the fact that sort of, there was that much of a gap just sort of shows it. But no, I mean, I've said it all season. We're just lucky he didn't pick a different car, full stop.
100%. Brenton, I'll bring you in at this point in time. Stay with me, Dennis. I'm going to go back and forth between you guys for the next few minutes here. We spoke last week, and I asked you whether you thought that the balance of performance update might hamper or put the anchor on the Merc coming to Mount Panorama. Did you notice any difference tonight, apart from obviously Dennis being 28 seconds up the road, in terms of the performance race to race, in terms of your 2-hour win and your 2-hour second when we look at Mount Panorama?
It's kind of hard to compare them like apples to apples, but I feel like, so when I raced here, we've done 2 races in this car with the Gentleman's League, and both times was prior to the patch, and both times the car felt really fast to drive. Tonight I had the thing set up to be as much of a jet as it could be, but the thing was damn near impossible to hang on to. So I was ragging it every lap for 2 hours to try and go as quick as I could. And I mean, I'm thrilled with the drive. I feel like I drove really well, but I mean, half a minute off the win. So I think it's hard because it was a while since we last did it. It's hard to sort of say lap to lap what I thought the comparison was like, but I feel like I've worked a lot harder and gone a lot slower, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. So the answer is, it seems as though the patch update is still hampering that Merc, ladies and gentlemen. But let's talk about the race in general. Dennis, 2.5 seconds up your sleeve after lap 1. You made the rest look easy.
Oh, it was anything but, to be absolutely
I thought that might be the case.
Yeah, it was. I suppose if we're going to go sort of for the race, yeah, it was just more. I tried to build the biggest gap because, to be fair with you, I think Brenton is definitely the more of a strategist than me. So, sort of after qualifying, I thought I might have just more outright pace essentially. So I was just putting my head down. I just wanted to build as much of a gap as possible, just so when strategy did come into it, I could just sort of, maybe just keep out in front sort of a little while more. So yeah, it was pretty much every lap was kind of, pushing it as hard as I could, just keeping an eye on the, just sort of on the delta behind, and just doing the absolute best I can without hitting a wall or going off the track, just making any mistakes essentially. So no, it was a very difficult sort of race, especially I think maybe after that hour 30, when sort of the fatigue started setting in and there was yellow flags pretty much all over the track, and you're watching to see if there isn't a car on the track, and that was a fun time.
Indeed. On that subject, we mentioned Dylan saying that he was cramping up. He felt stuffed after 2 hours. How were you guys? Because obviously it was 2 hours flat strap. We saw 2 safety car interventions in the last 2 hour race we had here, which was about 12 weeks ago now. 3 months is a long time in sim racing, as they say. But this time round, obviously, you guys have gone helter-skelter, go to woe, no chance to really take a breather, take a break, apart from maybe in the pit stops 20 seconds here or there. It was a real taxing sort of race. How are you guys holding up after all that, Dennis?
Well, yeah, to be fair with you, I was busting to go to the toilet at about an hour, 50 minutes left. So I was just going to, the second the race finished, I parked it up, I got out of there. I don't think I've ever run to the bathroom as quick as I did, but at the same time, it was definitely a bit of sweat. My window for the room just shut by itself, so I was worried about my computer overheating, and it got hot in the room. But yeah, that's just kind of it, isn't it? It's just it was a bit of fun, that's for sure.
Exactly right. 57 laps, the total race distance in the end. Just for those of you watching on, and I know there are still a few of you tuning in via Facebook Live, we'd like to advise you that the following portion of the program goes from being rated G and a family-friendly audience to being PG. So if you're under 15, just in case there are any mature references that come up, I'm just giving you prior warning, like what Dennis just stitched us up with there. Brenton, how are you feeling after the 2 hours, mate? Because obviously that was a fair hard workout for everyone.
Yeah, it was. I'm pretty good. I'm a bit of an old hat, I guess, when it comes to this stuff, so I'm used to it. I don't mind a good triple stint around here in the supercars, so 2 hours in these is not so bad. But in saying that, it was, like I said earlier, it was a lot harder than last time we raced here. The car was trying to kill me everywhere, so it was a fair effort, but I managed okay. I was smart enough to turn my fan on before the start, which was good. But yeah, I'm doing all right.
I've got some questions here for you, Dennis, from your teammate Trent Lavis, because his Discord has just parked it for the night. Should the championship results lean in your favour, so stick around for that. I'm going to do Trent a favour and send those through. I'll come back to you guys very shortly. Hang there, because obviously championship reveal, new calendar to talk about as well. Let's throw the conversation around. Chris Kisby's in the server, mate. Tell us about your night.
Yeah, it was pretty quiet. To be honest, Michael and I had 7 to 8 incidences to review, and they were reviewed on track, and we've got 2 referred to the stewards where we couldn't come to an agreement. So we're going to take it to the stewards and make a decision there.
I was going to say, I was waiting for Michael Porter to come in, but you obviously drew the short straw to give us a race report from the stewards room. With regards to that, very clean race for the most part. As you say, only 8 or so incidents throughout the whole 2 hours, and only 2 that need a post-race review, so that'll involve Paul and a few others, obviously. You've got to be really pleased with the level of professionalism shown by all these drivers over the last 2 hours when you think about the fact that it's 2 hours, it's Bathurst, and normally it's a lot more hectic in terms of incidents on circuit than what it turned out to be.
Well, first couple of laps, to be honest, mate, we were looking for incidences left, right and centre. And to be honest, for the first 10 laps, we had nothing to do. There was a couple of little minor scrapes. My hat goes off to every driver in there tonight because watching them was a privilege. Every single one of them showed the gentleman's code. And as I said, there was a couple of net code incidences, some that couldn't be avoided. But all in all, it was just absolutely fantastic racing around the mountain, mate.
Indeed it was, and obviously there were only a couple of incidents there where we thought we might have seen a safety car, but you guys let the race play out as it would normally in a 45-minute sprint. Instead of getting too trigger happy on the caution, you guys let it all sort itself out on circuit, which I guess kept the race flowing and meant that we were able to get to the 57 lap mark in the end as well.
Yeah, that's right, Zach. We decided before the race our strategy as to what we were going to ping, when we were going to call it, and to the credit of the drivers, they cleared very quickly. So the incidences that happened up in the dipper and all that sort of stuff, it was cleared very quickly. The drivers let each other know, so nothing escalated, and we were ready to pull the pin on them. But no, to their credit and professionalism, they actually did a really, really good job. It's a real credit to every single driver, pro-am, that was out there on track tonight, mate.
Indeed it was. Hey, just had a question come in the Discord chat, so if anyone's in there at the moment and can provide the answer, I was asked the overall race time for the GT3 split, the pro split, the top split, the broadcast split. 2 hours and 52 seconds, 0.073. 2 hours, 52 seconds, 0.073. The magic number there. Let's throw the conversation around. Laser Dave Farrelly is in the house. Just having a look down here, Laser Dave. Unfortunately, 2 laps down, mate, 24th, but credit where it's due. You moved up through the field nicely from 44th to 24th. Tell us about the night that was.
Just quiet, mate. Just trying to stay out of trouble.
Yeah, that looked easier said than done.
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, mate. I think me and Mikey missed a bit of a tangle. There's 3 cars, and it just sort of parted at the right moment as we put on the brakes. Got through, and that was about it. So yeah, went a couple of laps down, but that's the way it goes for me.
Yeah, indeed. But are you happy with the season that was? Are you happy with the race? And obviously, what are your thoughts going forward to the next series?
The boys are extremely fast, mate, in the pros. Yep. I found out as we moved on. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's a step down for me.
Indeed. Looking forward to seeing you on track in the weeks and months to come, mate. There's still a long way to go as far as 2020 is concerned, but well done for 24th tonight.
Good racing, everyone.
Nick, let's go to you. I'm going to come up to Jackson Rayhana very shortly. Also, Nick Windsor's in here too, and there's a fair bit to talk about with Nick. But with you, Nico Pop, my usual colleague and mate, good to have you in the booth for the first time. You got to be happy with 43rd to 18th. However, was there more in it, and did you get caught up in anything along the way that we didn't see?
Good evening. Hello.
Hello, mate.
Towards the end, I haven't done an endurance race in quite a while. So, my butt is really sore. I need to adjust my seat at some point. And B, towards the end, the Ford uses its, you can't get the speed without having to really be on it the whole way. And unfortunately, up around McPhillamy, I lost it and had about 27 bites on of the cherry to try and save it. And I ended up pancaking the wall and having to pit. So, looking at the times, my average times, I could have finished around 14th, 15th, which is what my aim was. And I think I only had 1 incident point just by silliness by running off the road at the final turn. So, up to that point, I was going fine. Whacked on some new tyres and just went for it. I even just had it just on screen before. I even got past Michael Schreier and was pulling away from him. So, Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. Like I said, I wanted a top 15, but hey, look, I'll walk away with a top 18 with only 5 incidents. I'm pretty happy with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looked like you finally found the sweet spot with the Ford GT, mate. We were on board with you on a few times. It had some great pace tonight.
Had some great pace, didn't have the outright pace, but man, the best thing about that, especially around Bathurst, is I had the best straight line handling out of all the cars. So if I could set up a pass, if I was close enough into the elbow, I could pretty much pass anybody and everybody down the bottom of the straight.
Yeah, and it showed as well. We saw a couple of very nice moves pulled off by yours truly. Chris, have you got a question there for our good mate?
No.
Okay, no, I just thought Sorry, I thought I saw your light up, and I thought you were going to chime in there. So
no.
I did actually want to ask Brenton something about tyres. Did you change tyres, or left side or right side tyres, or what was your strategy there, Brenton?
My strategy was, well, you saw on the first lap when I tried my hardest to just throw a spanner in the works with a bit of a fake at turn 2, try and get a mistake, because on cold tyres my car was straight evil. I took all the rear wing out of it to make it try and go a little quicker, so I couldn't drive it on cold tyres. So I committed before the race had even started that I wasn't changing them, because I'd be way off the pace for 2 or 3 laps trying to get them up to temp. So no tyres. Yeah, I got burnt with the tyre wear, but that was the lesser of 2 evils for me.
Oh, okay.
I'll ask Dennis the same question in a moment. Very nice work from Paul. Good pickup. Brenton, on that subject, is that part of the reason why we saw Dennis open up a 2.5-second lead on lap 1? And to counter that, how well did you do to hold everyone else at bay?
100%. I did a few laps testing, which is very unlike me as well. But we've got a setup, and it's the same setup we ran on this car the last 2 times we raced here, and it's actually a 2016 Bathurst 12-hour set. And I don't know how, but it works. It's nothing like anything else. But since the new build on cold tyres, it's undrivable for a couple of laps. But if you can get through that, it's sort of not bad. So it was very loose tonight, but that was the only way to make it quick, and that's because it had no wing on it. I had a theory was to get to the front. My only chance, I knew I was going to struggle for pace. My only chance, get to the front and have a car that was a rocket ship on the straights and difficult to pass, because across the top it's pretty hard to get one done. So I just needed to get through the cold tyres, and I was hoping I could sneak track position somewhere and try and hold on. But the cold tyre was just hopeless, and I was very lucky to hang on to second, actually. You're right, yeah.
Yeah, 100%. But no, well done, Dennis. What about you and tyres, mate? Because Chris pointed out it wasn't me. He's the mechanically smarted one here, not me. With regards to tyres, you had enough time up your sleeve to bang on a new set if you needed to. But it looks, from what we were seeing in terms of the margins from pit stop to pit stop and when it all played out, it looked as though you went through on the one set as well. Is that right?
Yeah, no. I thought about taking tyres in the last pit stop, because it probably would have been close by the time we came out. But at the same time, I just wanted to keep the lead, and I just wanted to sort of focus on driving by myself and just not making any mistakes. Obviously, because the lead was there, there was just no reason to take the risk, essentially. So yeah, I just went with no tyres. The car was still quick towards the end. I was still doing, I think, low 205s or something like that at the end. So it wasn't anything. But just to add to that, it's funny that Brenton's strategy was to be quick down the straights, because mine was the exact opposite. I wanted to be quick in the turns, because the Fezzer just has no straight line speed, full stop. So I just wanted to be out in front just with the turns, and that was it. That was about it.
Indeed, and again, it worked to your advantage. The strategy, I mean, you played it perfectly right throughout the course of the night. Adam Lavis, as soon as he gets back to the championship standings, I'll have them for you. He will get the new calendar out as well. In fact, it might even get to the point where we have to bang out the new calendar first and then get to the points. But we'll work on it, because I do want you guys to stick around and give your thoughts on the new look calendar, and also what's going through your mind with regards to car selection for next season, because again, the GT series holds that pick and stick rule. So whether anyone's thinking about changing allegiances will be interesting to see and hear. I know Dennis is lighting up at the moment. I'm thinking that you're going to just stick with the Ferrari champion.
Well, I don't know. When I was going by Nick, I thought that Ford GT looked pretty good.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just kind of, maybe
it doesn't burn, mate.
Doesn't look too bad.
It looks pretty good. I think it's one of the ugliest GT3 cars out there.
Oh, look, I'm a sucker for for an ugly thing. So yeah, let's just think about it.
Jeez, you have to thank my painter Paul Wood then.
He says I'm a sucker for
not your livery, not your livery.
The
car itself.
Yeah.
The car itself, not your livery. The livery looks fantastic, and thanks to Bailey Ladders, by the way.
And I was going to say there are so many avenues in which you can take that comment about being a sucker for ugly things, but we're not going to do it at this time of the night.
I was going to say, when my partner's not watching, I'm a dead man, so you're not going to see me.
Exactly right, 100%. I'm thinking of you, mate. I'm trying to protect you here.
I love your work. Thank you.
Paul Wood, let's go to you on that note of teammates of Nick's and Paintworks. Sixth in the end, mates. Obviously, you came into the series decider inside the top 10, and the bottom half of the top 10, as we saw in the points at the start of the night, pretty log jam, with you finishing there just behind Ross Ponting. You've done yourself great justice tonight. Well done.
Yeah. A hell of a drive. Again, thanks to Jackson. He supplied me with the silver bullet just before the race, which helped me. The Merc for one seemed to come to me as the race went on. It got better as the stint went on, and did the whole race on one set of tyres, and it felt pretty good right to the end.
Just having a look at the points here provisionally, I know Adam's going to get back to us in about 5 minutes with the points there, but that battle between Michael Schreier and Richard Hunter, the five of you, just 11 points separated you at the start of the night. Richard will move up. Obviously, with Emmerich and Jeff having a bad result there, it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out. I'm looking forward to seeing the points reveal very shortly, but Paul was sitting ninth coming into this, so I'll be interested to see where it all shakes out. The thoughts on the season as a whole, Paul, and going forward into the next season, what are you looking forward to?
Season always enjoyable. It's always enjoyable racing with the guys. It's good fun, but car choice. Yeah, I think I made my thoughts pretty clear with the Merc. It's
yes.
It still needs to work. As to next season, we'll determine, I guess, once we see the balanced performance come out. Hopefully, there'll be one in a week or so. And if there's nothing done for the car, I'm leaning more towards probably the Ferrari. It's another favourite of mine, but
yep,
you'll have to wait and see.
5 Ferraris inside the top 10 in the results tonight, which was an extraordinary domination from them. Mercs have dominated the top 10 throughout the championship, 5 in the top 10 inside both Pro and Pro-Am coming into this race. But Ferrari have cleaned up the bickies tonight. There's no doubt about that. As I say, final championship points on their way for you very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Let's continue the conversation here in the meantime with Jackson Rayhana and Nick Windsor for the first time. Nick, I'll go to you first. 11th, right on the tail there of Jackson in the closing stages. You were so close to the top 10, mate. Are you happy with the effort that you've put in over the last 2 hours? Just hit that button again, Nick. Go. There we go.
It's my wheel. So I had a great little race for the most part. Started, I think, around about 20th. Kept my nose clean. Came out right behind Warwick there at the end of my first fuel stop, which was really good. I had a great battle with him for quite a few laps. Then, unfortunately, I after my second stop, I had 0 incident points. I think I came out 7th, and everything was going fine. And the gap behind me was fairly big, and I just sort of had to keep my nose clean. But my wheel, it's something's going on with it. It started probably about every 2 or 3 times a lap. Sort of all the force feedback would cut out, and it would sort of stuff me up through a corner. And then it got worse and worse to the point where I couldn't change gear. It wasn't registering me turning at all. It turned itself, and that's ended up crashing into at Hell Corner. And I think I probably gave Gaderick a little bit of a scare there. But it was really frustrating actually. I still managed to bring it home 11th, but it was quite disappointing actually.
Yeah, sounds like a very frustrating night at the office, but you've persevered with it, and well done in getting home in 11th. You're right, we were talking about that battle between you and Maverick Benson there for quite a while, actually, so not to be. Onwards and upwards for the next season. What's on the agenda for the rest of the week as we build towards the end of the season proper, and then, of course, into the qualifying service next week?
Well, I suppose a bit of fault finding, see if I can get this wheel fixed. Hopefully I can. And I'm actually just concentrating. I'm really looking forward to the Porsches next season, so just going to keep doing some practice on that and see how we go.
For sure. And of course, there's another example with Nick there of technical issues. There's been plenty of them over the last 3 hours. I'm really glad mine hasn't played up yet, but touch wood, there's still about a 3/4 of an hour to go here. Let's throw the conversation around to Jackson Ray Hunter now for the first time. I get the feeling that you're a little bit frustrated, mate, because you got taken out on your outlap after your first pit stop, and then we didn't see the incident. We just saw you in the wall on the outlap after your second pit stop. Frustrating night at the office. You've salvaged it with a top 10 finish, but I sense that you will be a little bit filthy.
Good evening, Zach.
Hi, mate.
I wouldn't say filthy. Look, the car. At the end of the day, the car was a bullet. I was pretty happy with race pace. Obviously, qualifying's not been my strongest suit this series, but I was happy with 10th. I'm like, okay, so we're out of the midfield, and if I can be a bit aggressive off the start and get up into that top 8 at the end of the first lap, which I did, we'll be good. We'll settle into a rhythm, and of course we did. I was holding on to Amrit for a little bit there.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so. Yeah, just got into a rhythm, and after the first stop, unfortunately on my outlap, just got tangled up with a slower car. It was no one's fault. Just a bit clumsy on my behalf. I was a little bit impatient, and yeah, it probably cost me about a minute in the pits to get that repaired. So yeah, look, head down from there, and then I had on my outlap on my next pit stop. Actually, Brenton referred to it. The car's pretty evil. Cold tyres, so flipped it down to first coming into the dipper, and it just spun me around, got the compression lock and spun me around. So yeah, that was completely my mistake. Yeah, look, a little bit frustrated, like knowing I probably could have finished another minute and a half up the road. But yeah, look, other than that, yeah, I'm not really sure where I finished in the championship points, but I feel like I finished in a few positions ahead of people that I was fighting for. So top 10 was my aim for tonight.
We'll have all the news for you very shortly. Don't worry about that. I think you were 11th coming into the round, were you not?
Yes. Yep.
Yeah. We only ran through the top 10. We ran out of time at the start there, but that was sitting in my memory. You mentioned you've started 10th, you finished 10th. There were 3 other drivers in the top 10 who did that. Dennis started first, finished first. Brenton started second, finished second. And Ross Ponting started 5th, finished 5th. The big mover in the top 10, well, there were a couple, actually. Paul Wood from 14th up to 6th. Gained 8 spots, of course. Richard Hunter and Michael Schreier both gained 6 spots. Richard from 9th to 3rd, Michael from 13th to 7th, and Parry from 11th up to 9th. Unfortunately, Maverick Benson dropped from 4th to 8th in all of that. So I think I've covered the top 10 there. Big movers outside there. There's a few. So let's just run through this. 33rd to 15th for Richard Mitchum, 29th to 16th for Jamie Welch, 30th to 17th for Daniel Birchnell. Important to note that he's a Pro-Am there. So to, as I say, Richard Mitchum. 43rd to 18th for Nick, the biggest mover of the night. 28th to 19th for Rick Vincent. 31st to 20th for David Johnson. 44th to 24th for Laser Dave Farrelly. 39th to 25th for Andrew Hayes. 40th to 27th for James Wilkins. 42nd to 28th for Grant Gill. Chris Stark from 35th up to 29th. And 41st to 32nd for Luke Gathercole. 45th to 34th for Kim Forer. And that is just about it as far as the big movers through the field are concerned. What an extraordinary race. Now, while we wait for the points, anyone in amongst the chat room here thinking about a different manufacturer for the next campaign in the GT3 series? Anyone thinking about not being in the GT series because they're going to focus their attention elsewhere? Let's start with Dennis and work the conversation around.
Yeah, to be honest with you, I reckon it's just going to be what the patch says, essentially. We're going to have to wait for the patch, do a couple of tests, and see what it is. I've actually been driving the 4GT a lot, just sort of around, essentially, and I've been really enjoying that. Probably way more than the Ferrari, and I think it's just more the way the car has to be driven. It's pretty much exactly what Nick said. It doesn't turn, but at the same time, it's got straight line speed. But at the same time, there's a certain it does have mid corner grip if you really slow it down. So yeah, it's a really, really interesting car to drive. I love it. It's kind of reinvigorated my love for the GT3s, to be honest with you. So I'll consider that. I do actually enjoy the Audi. I did a race where it didn't kill me for one race, and I thought that was really nice. But yeah, obviously I'll do the testing sort of after the patch comes out, and we'll see what we come up with. Essentially, might be a surprise. Who knows?
Indeed. I'm still waiting for the go-ahead on the reveal of the championship points. So once Adam comes back into the chat room, gives me okay, we'll reveal all of that. Brenton Hobson, your thoughts? Are you tied to the Mercedes, or are you looking elsewhere at the moment?
I know one person from the top two who would be very eager to change cars at the minute, but it would all depend on the patch, like you say. I do love the Merc, and it's the car that I'm comfortable driving because it's the only car I've driven. But if it's garbage like it is at the moment, then it's a no-brainer. But I'm not even 100% committed to doing the next season yet. I'm just going to see what happens. I'm the sort of person that tends to mix things up and shake things around a bit. So we'll see what happens. Might come back and do the first couple of rounds and just see how we go. But as far as cars go, I don't know at this stage. I'll just pick whatever Dennis picks. That sounds pretty good.
Follow the leader.
Well, why not? That is if Dennis has, of course, wrapped up the championship. We'll reveal that very shortly. Extraordinary. Paul Nichols, let's get some thoughts from you. Obviously, the race didn't go to according to script for you, unfortunately. But in terms of the overall show, as the man at the helm of the Gentleman's Sim Racing Club, you've got to be proud of what the boys put on in terms of a display and a show tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, big shout out to Race Control tonight, Chris Kisby and Michael Porter, to all the admin that put in many hours unpaid behind the scenes that put this series together and all the series together. So shout out to those guys, all our sponsors as well, Off Your Air, Central Coast Subaru, LJ Gander, Flash Graphics as well. I mean, it's a really the club's a not-for-profit club, and I think the driving standards have improved this season immensely from what I'm watching as well. So, I mean, obviously we still have incidents, we still have things we need to look at, but overall I think it's been an incredible season. So hats off to all the drivers that come and join us each week.
Couple of random things here before I move to... I'm going to go to the calendar for next season in terms of the GT Series first, rather than the points, because they were still waiting for final confirmation on them, and I want to run through all three classes at the same time rather than stagnating them. Parry and Astakis, is it Super TT for you on Sunday at Wakefield?
I still haven't got a car, Zach, so no.
No, okay, righto, still working, okay, righto. No, not even going to get to go down as a spectator?
No, I won't be. I've got no mates are running down there at this event, so no.
It's a shame. It must be frustrating because we're all envious of you with real world motorsport starting back up in New South Wales, and other Victorians particularly envious. And we know that you've been a big supporter of not only Super TT but also MRA over the years.
Oh yeah, MRA's been doing it 15 years now, so Terry actually got me into it. And I believe you mentioned Terry a couple of times today, more than me, I believe, though, I've been told. Well,
we will follow. I made sure that we were on your car while we were talking about the great man. Yes, absolutely.
No, Terry's great. He runs a great series, and anyone that's interested here and wants to run in real life, we've got we can categories that you can run without a roll cage. And if you've got a roll cage in your car, come and join us. It's friendly. It's not it's not V8 supercars, but it's good fun.
Indeed.
I'll help out anybody that's interested.
That's exactly right. He will do. He's a man of his word, as Parry It's very nicely done, mate. How did you drive us tonight? I might start with Brenton Hobson and also Dennis Gaderick, and then work the conversation around. How did you guys handle the fading light, the working into the sunset? I mean, lights were ablaze right from 4 o'clock. You finished at 6 o'clock sim time. It was a pretty sight. Was it? Did it get glary at any point with the sun coming into your eyes on the main straight there, Dennis?
Well, to be fair with you, I think we did so many laps, could have shut my eyes and done a lap, essentially, to be fair with you. So, it was just more just muscle memory essentially. Like, don't get me wrong, it was nice to look at. I'm glad I upgraded my computer before before the season started to handle it, which is awesome. But at the same time, yeah, no, it was all right. It was kind of pretty. I think it added to the fatigue more than everything, to be fair, because I saw the sun going down and I was like, is the race over yet? Is the race over yet? But obviously not. There was still an hour to go. So yeah, it was it was nice. Let's put it that way.
Indeed. Now, Adam Lavis, I believe I'm good to go, am I?
I believe so. I hope so.
Well, okay. All right. Here we go. I'll get to the calendar in a moment because the championship points are ready to go, and I know you guys are desperately waiting to hear how this is all played out. Now, Adam, can you just confirm for me? First in the normal race would be 45. Second is 43 or 42?
So it's the top three of a 3-point split. So normally it's 45,
right.
42, 39.
Yeah, no,
then
for some
2
reason,
points, fourth, and then ones.
Yeah, for some reason I had 2 in my head. It's 3, and that's the only reason that my maths is out a little bit. I said that Dennis Gaderick would have this championship by 1 point if my maths were right. He has it by 3 points, ladies and gentlemen. Ferrari on top, and this is an extraordinary performance from Dennis Gaderick because he was 43 points down after 2 rounds in this championship. He's fought his way back. 5 wins in the final 8 rounds, and he's won the championship by 3 solitary points. 494 plays 491. Then Emmerich Candola, who didn't have a great run tonight, came home third, 423. Jeff Connor wasn't even in the server, so he drops all the way down to 10th position. Fourth was Ross Ponting on 371. Richard Hunter, the big mover, up 5 places, I think it was, to 344. 336 for Michael Schreier, 331 for Paul Wood, 330 for Maverick Benson. Jackson Rayhana 9th. He got into the top 10 mate on 310. And then also Jeff Connell on 298 points. Incredible. GT Pro, Yanni by 145. By the length of the straight. 502 plays, 357 for Andrew Goldman. Ben Miller, well done. 3rd place, 354. Only a 1.5 clear of Parry Anastakis. Parry, you were that close to the podium, mate. 1.5 in that. 328 to Daniel Birchnell, 319 to Josh Forer, 304 to Richard Mitchum, 297 to both Rick Vincent and Luke Gathercole. So Vincent moved up there in the end. And Andrew Hayes rounded out the top 10 on 281. I will get to the AM's points in just a moment, but before I do that, I've got to talk about the AM results, and they've been sent through to me courtesy of Paul Nichols. They too had a 2-hour race tonight. It too went caution-free. There were 33 in the split, and it was won by John Merritt after 57 laps from Glenn Cito, Riddell, Luke Turner, Peter Hunter, Brock Kelly, Michael Angus, Michael Martin, Ben Collard, Joe Baldwin, and Chris McHale. What that means for the championship, well, let's get there and find that out for you. The AM split has been won by Michael Martin. So Ferrari, have a look at that. Ferrari winning all 3 splits in the end there, ladies and gentlemen. At one point we had Mercedes leading 1, BMW leading 1, and Ferrari leading 1, but Ferrari have won all 3 splits. 333 to 303, Michael Martin over Brock Kelly. A Ferrari 1-2, John Merritt, 289, 255 for Luke Turner, and 250 for Michael Angus. Then you go down to David Riddell, 223, 1 point clear of Stephen Robertson, the 2 Mercs, 6th and 7th, and another point back to Matt Dunphy, 223, 222, 221. How tight is that? 206 for Glenn Riddell, 196 for Doi San, made up the top 10 there in the AM split. So to the victor goes the spoils. Dennis Gaderick, well done. When you look at the fact that you were 43 points down after the second round, that's a solid comeback, mate. What was the key to success? Obviously, consistency, but also it looks as though clean races and qualifying come back to serve you well as well.
Yeah, that's right. I think it was a bit of misfortune, to be fair, in the first 2 races. It wasn't really much that I could do. It was, to be fair with you, after the first 2 races, just because the company that I work for essentially owns a Ferrari on the Gold Coast. And they said, if you win the championship, you get a car from us for a day. So I just said, absolutely, let's get on to it. And I'm glad to finally, that was the motivating factor, to be absolutely fair with you.
Well, actually, on that note, can I go to my phone here and go to some questions that Trent Lavis has sent through? We want to know, this is Dennis and, this is Chris and Trent and the rest of the crew there. They want to know, what colour polo Frank shirt you're going to wear with the your aviators and Ferrari hat when you take it for a spin. That's number one. Number two, also, if he is going to go with Crocs or Crosby's for shoes, and because they already know number three, that 3/4 pants beige cargos are mandatory. So what's your response to all of that?
Jesus, it's almost like they know me so well. It's all
stitched up royally.
Absolutely. I mean, look, to be fair with you, I've got to send them a photo at least, but it's good to be honest with you. It's going to be somewhere there. Definitely the aviators, the cap. Oh, I don't know about the pink polo. To be fair with you, I was kind of going more with salmon, but at the same time, yeah. I mean, we'll see what the day brings up. I suppose. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, hey, I'd rather you than me because I'm just happy steering my Hyundai i30 around at the moment. I couldn't imagine being in control of something as beautiful, luxurious, and expensive as a Ferrari. Rather you than me. But well done. Just looking back at the facts, ladies and gentlemen, from the season that was, round one was won by Jeff Connell, and then of course Brenton Hobson won race two. Brenton, when you look back at the season that was, obviously disappointing to miss out by 3 solitary points. You laid all the groundwork. Everything was there to play for. You did everything right. Maybe the balance of performance updates did sabotage you a little bit, but 3 pole positions, 1 race win. You did all you could.
Without a doubt, yeah. I look back at the championship and I don't think I can really fault anything that I did. There are definitely a couple of things that I remember that stand out to me now, like where I've tipped away bonus points for 0 incident races, particularly at Laguna Seca. I just followed Nick straight off the road like an idiot with about 2 laps to go. But in saying that though, like I did what I could, and I just have to say a huge congrats to Dennis, because like you say, there was a almost unassailable lead that I had over him after 2 rounds, and when you consider that for the whole championship I never finished worse than 4th, I mean, the dude's done a cracking job to come back, from dire straits really, and end up pipping me at the line. So awesome job by him. I'm happy with my championship. I think with what I had underneath me, that I don't really think I could have done a lot better. So I'm happy enough. It's a bittersweet thing. I'm happy enough with how I went. I'm pretty pleased with my championship and the run that I had, but would have loved to have gotten over the line at the end. So yeah, good on Dennis though. That was a great job by him.
I mean, I'm all for the double points because you guys work more than twice as hard in a race like that. So I can understand the double point situation, but if it hadn't been double points, I think I'm right in saying that Brenton would have won it by 5. So there you go. How about that? Extraordinary season. In fact, out of the 10 races, 5 were won from pole position, 5 were won from no lower than 5th on the grid. So yeah, it just goes to show, Nick and Paul, as I bring you guys in here, Nico Pop, that is, just how key, how crucial, how important qualifying is in a field of this calibre.
Nico.
Well, I mean, especially for the top guys, yeah, you got to get those 5 bonus points, but also get track position. I wouldn't have a clue about qualifying in this because I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, this is true, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. I think, it proves the cream rises to the top as usual. So, hats off to the guys in the top 10 in all the splits, so Pro and Pro-Am and Amateur Series. I don't know if you got the results from the Am through, Zach?
I already run through them and run through the championship as well. So thank you very much for sending them through, mate. Very nicely done. And thank you very much to Adam Lavis for crunching the numbers there tonight. How difficult was that, Adam? Just quickly, because this is the first time we've had 2 classes in one server. I mean, obviously you're helped by the work that you put in, putting Pro and Pro-Am next to the respective drivers here, but obviously not easy to go back and crunch the numbers as quickly as you did.
Well, the Pro and Pro-Am thing on your screen, that doesn't go to the results page.
No.
So basically, what I do is I just I put all the Pro-Am drivers onto the Pro spreadsheet, and then just put like an A and B in a column just off to the side.
Gotcha.
So that I just put all the results in as they were. Then I sorted by the A and B, then the results, and then just basically reordered the numbers into their actual class position. So, and it was just a matter of going through and making sure they're all on the right cars and all the numbers added up properly. So, but I got there in the end.
No, you did very well, mate. Very nicely done. And just having a look, Paul, Pro-Am drivers 4th, 9th, 13th, 15th, and 17th, 19th so 6 in the top 20. That's a fair effort.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's one of the reasons we're going to combine them next season. So pro and pro-ams will be together in the same server, which is great, and then we'll have an amateur series as well.
All right, stick around, guys. Going to come back to you all in just a moment. Robert Hazelrun, if you can throw up the GT3 series for the next season. Monday Night Motorsport is going to be a double header from the next season on Do Adrift Esports. We are looking forward to this immensely. It starts on Monday, September 21. We will be on air at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time from the time that Daylight Saving kicks in. That's October 5. And from the first 2 weeks, it'll be 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make a note of that, especially if you're like us in poor old Queensland that are stuck in the 19th century. It'll be 6:30 Queensland time from October 5. But 7:30 for the first 2 weeks, Monday, September 21, September 28. We will have Intro to Wings, which I'll get Nick to tell everyone a little bit more about in just a moment. They'll be leading in with, I think it's a 20-minute race, leading into our traditional 45-minute races for the first 9 rounds and 2-hour race for round 10 for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. And looking forward to this immensely. And this will be the new season calendar for you. Circuit to Barcelona, Catalunya, round 1. Round 2 at Brands Hatch. Round 3, we head to Asia, the Okayama International Circuit. Round 4 to South America and the Interlagos Circuit in Brazil. Circuit Park Zandvoort. Really looking forward to getting to the Netherlands for round 5. Alton Park, a second British round for round 6. Monza, Italy, round 7. Round 8, Donington Park, a third British round. And then we go to the Sonoma Raceway in California for round 9 before Mount Panorama finishes off for round 10. So we've got a couple of new circuits there that we haven't raced on in the GT series so far this year across the 2 seasons so far. That's number 1. Number 2, we got that last race, incidentally, on your screen there, round 10. That will be a 7:45 Eastern Daylight Time start, which means the Intro to Wings race will be 7:10. So we'll be on air at 7 o'clock. So just be mindful of that. Huge calendar coming up. And what's important to note here, Paul Nichols, is gone is that North American flavour that we've had to the championship in this season. I think we had 4 rounds in North America. We've got just 1 in North America. We've got 1 in South America and a very Europe-centric championship for the run home towards Christmas, which means it's a whole different playing field all over again.
Yeah, so I think we're going to mix it up. We're going to follow it's following the VRS series, so they change it up every season. So it's good for the drivers because they can get out there and do official racing and then jump in and be up to speed with the tracks and conditions. Indeed.
I'll go to you, Nick, on this, and that'll give me time to have a look at your Facebook message that you sent through. But when you look at the new calendar, I'm particularly looking forward to Interlagos. Monza will be good for GT racing, but there's a couple of other tracks to look forward to very much so as well in there. Donington Park.
Yeah, we do a couple in the UK and the like, and mostly across Europe. So, as we know, the European circuits, they like to have fast-flowing corners, and then I guess a couple of hairpins here and there. So it should be good fun. Like, given these cars have got big wings and big splitters on them, it'd be good to use them, kind of thing. So bring it on.
Indeed. So the championship will start Monday, September 21, and Monday, November 23. So the case of it's 10 different Mondays. It's what is that going to be? 64 days between lights out and the checkered flag, which will be great fun there. Dennis, as the man with the tag on his back, you're actually the pride of Ferrari at the moment, given how well they went in Italy last night. What are you looking forward to most in the new calendar there?
Probably the fact I'm not going to win a championship because there's no North American tracks. That's always a good start.
Well, there's one.
Second one is the fact that you guys didn't. I said Oran Park. Oran Park would be a good track. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Oran Park.
But obviously Okayama's there. We know that Okayama throws up some great racing. Interlagos will be good. Zandvoort, that's the great unknown as far as GT racing is concerned, I would think.
Oh, Zandvoort, I love that track. That's one of my all-time favourites. Yeah, it would have been sort of nice to see the other Z1, the one in the Netherlands. I forgot what that one there was called. That one there would be good. But yeah, Zandvoort will be awesome, especially with Interlagos as well. Yeah, it's a lot of different tracks. So, there's some there with, longer straights. There's some there with tighter turns. So, yeah, I think it will be interesting. Should hopefully, sort of throw up a couple of variables with sort of car choice, essentially. Yeah, should be good.
Yanni as the Pro-Am champion, and congratulations with the confirmation of that. We knew that already, but obviously it's now official. What are you looking forward to most in the new calendar? Because Gon's this based the championship around North America, and now we've got 4 different continents in play.
Sorry, Zach, I pressed the wrong button.
Actually, sorry, I've miscalculated there. We've got Asia, Australia, North and South America, and Europe. So we've got 5 different continents in play. The only one missing is Africa, of course, and there's no South African circuit on iRacing. Back to you, Yanni.
All good. I haven't. It looks like a very challenging calendar, to be honest. I haven't done a lot of laps around any of those tracks, really, maybe apart from Catalonia. So it's cool, though. Just throw in the deep end and see what happens. But should bring up some very interesting racing, that's for sure.
Before I go to anyone else on this, Paul Nichols, just bring you back in, if I can. The fact of the matter is that the pre-qualifying servers will be up next week. Just run us through what the equation is there, because I believe we're heading to Silverstone, which is a circuit that we've seen in the last 2 series, but we won't see in the next season.
Yeah, I think the decision was that Silverstone's kind of like one of those tracks that's got a lot of everything, long straights, some really sharp corners, some hairpins. So it's a really good track to get a really good gauge on the drivers. And so the idea is we're going to have 2 splits in GT3. Porsche Cup, we're not sure whether we're going to have 1 or 2 splits, depends on the turnout. And then the supercars. So Stone Cold Racing is sponsoring both series next season, sorry. So thanks to Kim Fora and Stone Cold Racing for putting their hand in their pocket and sponsoring that series as well. So, we're going to have a triple header on Friday nights, which, Zach, your voice is not going to be good.
No, certainly not, especially when you add the fact that I've also got to back up and do radio here 9 o'clock local on the Saturday morning. It's going to be fried by midday on a Saturday. That's okay. At least my services are being sought, unlike 20 minutes down the road here. Let's talk about Wednesday night, Rob. If we can throw that Porsche GT3 Cup Series calendar up, I'll run through that now for everyone as well, because as Paul said, we're going to have 7 different series broadcasts on Do Drift Esports across the course of the next series. And one of those is the new Porsche GT3 Cup. This is going to trigger a lot of interest and excitement. There's no doubt about that. So it'll start on Wednesday, September 23, the Suzuka International Racing Course. So we head to Japan first, then we stay in Japan and go to the Okayama International Circuit. Watkins Glen, Road Atlanta, Road America follow on consecutive Wednesdays. Then we head to Interlagos to put the curtain on the North and South American leg of the championship. Then we head to Imola. Then we head to Monza, and then to the Phillip Island Grand Prix circuit, and then to Mount Panorama. Bathurst. So looking forward to all of that. Well, that's
air freight's pretty cheap at the moment.
It does. 100%. I was just going to say I've lost Rob's feed, but I'm aware that we're still live, so I'm going to press on with this, and then we'll wrap things up very shortly. So Wednesday nights, 10 consecutive weeks, starting Wednesday, September 23, ending Wednesday, November 25. Phillip Island, Bathurst. So this is the good thing about this. We've got 2 in Asia, 4 in North and South America, 2 in Europe, 2 in Australia, and obviously the 2 in Europe are in Italy. So there's only, 5 different countries involved in that next championship as far as Porsche GT3 Cup is concerned. So on Wednesday nights, Porsche GT3 Cup now becomes the main course. The entree will be TCR and GT4. We'll start the broadcast at 7:30, go racing at 7:35 and 8:35. And for the Porsche GT3 Cup, so TCR and also GT4, the races will be 45 minutes for Porsches. Sorry, the races will be 40 minutes. For the Porsches, it'll be 45 with the exception of the last round, which will be quarter of an hour longer. Now that I've got my head around that, let's go and talk about Friday nights. And then I'm going to throw the conversation around before we wrap things up here, and we are running out of time. I understand that. Friday nights look a little bit different because the production car races are going to be 30 minutes. So they're essentially going to be a sprint. The stock car races are going to be roughly an hour. And then you're going to have 45 minutes worth of supercar action. to end the championship. Let's throw the stock car calendar up, Rob, if we can. The Friday night stock car calendar. We start the first 4 weeks, follow the supercar and the production car calendar, and then things vary up a little bit. I'll bring Nick in for some comments in just a moment. We start Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. Then we go to Road America, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve and Phillip Island follow. Then we break away from the supercar calendar with Mount Panorama, a to-be-announced venue because it's a member vote for round 6. Then we go to Sonoma and Watkins Glen, the traditional stock car venues, of course, when it comes to road circuits. We stay there with the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, and then we go to the Daytona International Speedway Roval to finish things off. So, Nick, before we go and talk about the supercar calendar, let's talk about, there are subtle differences here to the stock car calendar compared to the supercar calendar. There are reasons why we follow it for the first few weeks and then branch off and do other things, and it all comes back to you being the main man behind the stock car series. So I want you to talk us through that.
Well, giving it a try this Friday is finishing at Daytona, the traditional home of NASCAR, but also let's keep it American centric at the top. At the final few races there, Sonoma Raceway obviously is the first road course that they go to. Watkins Glen they go to as well. But then Charlotte is the home of NASCARs because everybody's from North Carolina there, all the teams. So Charlotte, and then finish off with Daytona, and then that we switch Daytona Mount Panorama around. So we get a little Aussie leg of the trip there happening as well.
Yeah, I apologise. I'm not sure why the pictures are coming through as grainy as they are on your screen there. I'm sure it's something that I've done in sending it to Rob as a JPEG, but that's okay. Could be. I probably should have sent it through as a PNG. Anyway, it doesn't matter. You can on
Twitch. We can see it.
Okay, it might just be my Facebook then. So Mid-Ohio, Road America, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. Okay, that's the stock car calendar. As you can see, start times there around 10 past 8, with the exception of that last week, it is 10 minutes earlier. That is because of the fact that the race will be a little bit longer, and also the supercar race that follows that will be a little bit longer. As we look at that supercar calendar now for you, as we say, first 4 weeks exactly the same. Weeks 5 and 10 are swapped around. So week 5 will be the Daytona International Speedway. Week 10 will be Mount Panorama. That'll be a 60-minute race as opposed to a 45. Round 6, Detroit Grand Prix Belle Isle. So we go street racing. Round 7, Barber Motorsports Park, which threw up a cracking GT3 race this season. Then to Spa-Francorchamps and Road Atlanta before Mount Panorama. So we've got a great mix of circuits. And to be fair, Paul, look, say what you will, say what you want. Some are fans, some aren't. Supercars are the pinnacle of Australian motorsport for whatever reason. There seems to be a tremendous following for it in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club. So to get that category, which has been on a Thursday night, involved in the broadcast, is a good thing for the club in terms of it attracts a lot of people and it attracts a lot of interest.
Yeah, absolutely. Being Australian or Australasian, there's a huge interest in supercars. So yeah, I mean, the idea was to do that. Stone Cold Racing have put their hand in their pocket and put some money towards this series. So it's worth putting it on a broadcast and being the final race on a Friday night. I think would be really interesting. I think we'll obviously get a really good coverage, really good turnout. Looking forward to the series, like a really good combination of tracks. I think that suit supercars. Obviously, Mount Panorama, the last race of the season. So, fantastic. And thanks to Kim Fora for doing that and sponsoring the series.
Indeed. I'll throw the conversation around in just a moment. Just want to point out too, Monday nights, as we say, are going to start around 7:30, with the exception of that last week, which will be 7 p.m, and that's following Sydney and Melbourne time. So for the first 2 weeks, that'll be Eastern Standard, and then it'll be Eastern Daylight Saving.
Are you talking about daylight saving time, man?
Shut up, Nico. It's too late in the night. The Wednesday nights are going to start around the same time, 7:30, with the and they are going to stay a 7:30 streamline right through. Obviously 6:30 Queensland once daylight saving kicks in. Friday nights, we're going to start later. We normally start before 7 o'clock. We're going to start later. We're going to be on air about 7:10, 7:15. with the tail end of production car qualifying into a half-hour production car race. The only difference will be the last week will be on air 5 minutes earlier than every other week because of the stock cars at 8:10. That's race starts, of course, and 9:30 race starts for the supercars. And obviously, Nico, on the subject of daylight saving, I don't want to wind myself up, but that later start for the supercars on a Friday night will certainly entice the WA boys to come in at 6:30 their time.
Yeah, absolutely. And look, we I mean, it's very hard to suit everyone's time schedule, but we obviously had to take into account the 1930s daylight saving period in Queensland.
Yes.
And also take into account that we have members all around Australia and also all around New Zealand, in Asia as well. We've got some US members as well. So
well, that's the thing, because Richard Mitchum, who's jumped out, unfortunately, he's in Singapore, so he goes on to WA time. Essentially, that's what he runs.
Correct. Yeah.
So he's also going to be put out by this 1 hour shift. We can have the daylight saving debate another day. I'm not going to have it now. Just throwing the conversation around. Brenton Hobson. Looking at the calendar, I know you're big on supercars. What do you think of the Friday night stuff?
Yeah, sounds good. I wouldn't mind having a go in the super. I haven't driven them a lot lately. I've got the V8 Scops series that I still participate in, but other than that, I just don't drive them anymore. So that would probably be all right. I might be interested in that. Be a long night, three cars back to back, because you know me. Depending on what time it starts, I didn't catch the start time for the
start time will be. So where are you based, Brenton?
I'm in Victoria.
Oh, you're okay then. You're going to be fine because you're not going anywhere until October 26, apparently, and I feel sorry for you guys. However, it's important to note that I mentioned this yesterday, right? He's Dictator Dan, or whatever you want to call him, has given you all an extra hour of exercise to acknowledge the day's getting longer. And that's important to note because
government-mandated exercise regime.
Exactly, because as soon as October comes around, the sun sets an hour later. So yes, well done on that note, acknowledging that the days get longer because of daylight saving. Or the days don't necessarily get longer, but the sunset is later. So get out and enjoy that leisurely afternoon sun that we don't get up here in Queensland. But yeah, that's going to be great because the Friday night start time will be first race 7:20, second race 8:10, third race 9:30. So you're going to be a busy boy. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, that's good. I've got family commitments, so at the minute, the way it works, I think it's a 10 to 7 start my time for the production cars, and my kids go to bed about 7 o'clock. Right. So yeah. I barely squeak into the server at the end of quali, and that's why the burn from the stern, because I usually don't have time to qualify. So no, that'll work out all right. I don't mind throwing myself under the bus and trying to adjust from one car to the other without any practice, so that'll be good. See how that goes again.
Indeed. We're fast running out of time here. I'm going to be trying to wrap it up by 11 o'clock, but I feel as though I'm pushing it uphill at the moment. Look, with regards to everything you've heard there, Jackson Rayhano, I know you're particularly looking forward to the GT3 series, but what about every other announcement you've heard there in the last 15 minutes or so?
I think next season, also good to know I'm ninth in the championship for the GTs. That means qualification, so that's something I don't have to worry about. But Carrera Cup Series, I think it will be my focus next season. I just love the idea of those cars, one make series and on fixed setups too. I'm a sucker for a fixed setup series. And I'm not particularly big on the calendar, but we'll see how we go. Or some of the tracks, or most of the tracks, I'm still half and half, not quite there yet. A lot of these tracks I'm fairly new to still. So, look, love the car. Might be chasing my tail a bit with some of the tracks we go to, but that's how it goes.
For sure. Obviously, anyone else in the chat at the moment excited about the Porsches on the Wednesday night?
I think that from the feedback I've had from Facebook and our members, there's certainly a very high interest, and that's why we thought we might need to do pre-qualifying just to make sure that if we have enough drivers, we'll probably run 2 splits, but hopefully 1 split and a broadcast split, obviously. So,
and a full grid.
Yeah, full grid.
Some of those races we should point out. Sorry, Chris Kisby?
I said 1 split just for...
Yeah,
one split just for me.
And you win that one.
if we could manage it, we would, I'm sure. Should point out too, folks, due to circumstances beyond our control, some of those Wednesday night broadcasts will be on a 1-day delay, but don't shoot the messenger, okay? That's not my doing. All I'm stuck with is doing commentary on a Thursday morning when I'm not a morning person, rather than a Wednesday night, but we'll work on that at a later point in time. Adam Lavis will be in the chair for some of our Wednesday nights while Rob's off doing some other stuff on a Tuesday night, and we're all trying to juggle different things at the moment. We're all very busy people, but the main thing is we will have 3 broadcasts a week. Some will have on the Wednesday nights. Some of them will feature post-race shows. The Thursday night ones probably not so, but that's okay. We'll work on that, and then we'll hopefully get a more streamlined structure for 2021. Yanni, I saw your box light up there when I mentioned GT3. Are you coming to get involved in the Porsches, mate?
Definitely. That's I'm just like Jason there, sucker for a Porsche fixed car setup. So yeah, looking forward to that one. Definitely be included in that.
For sure. Looking forward to having you on board as well. Nick, obviously commentary first, but what are you going to be plying your trade at next time round?
Cars.
Just the stock cars?
Short answer.
And depending how I go this Wednesday, GT4.
Okay, excellent.
I touch GT3s sometimes.
I thought you'd been to the Oval Series, Nico.
Oh, yeah, but Oval Series, yeah, I'll give that a shot as well.
Just on that note, Nick, tell us a little bit about Intro to Wings as well, because that's coming up on a Monday night. That's something that's been happening on a Thursday night in recent times.
Yeah, oh, look, it's introducing Wings to some of the newer members and people who have driven a lot of tin tops. Get them to understand that it will stick in the corner and it will carry you through at quite a fast pace, because it is quite an adjustment to make. It's designed to be 60 minutes from practice all the way through to the end of the race. It's a quick turnaround. Quick for everybody, so you can just get in, do a bit of practice. I think we've allocated 10 minutes for qualifying, and then it's just a 20-minute blast, which it usually is. No safety cars, nothing like that. Just get in, get going, have fun, learn about it, and you'll, especially for the newer guys, they end up going way faster in the race than they did in the first practice session. So, yeah, it's just quick hitter, in and out, and then off to the next one, which I believe is what, GT3's on Monday. So.
Yeah. Intro to Wings into GT3 on a Monday night, GT4 TCR into Porsche GT3 on a Wednesday night, and of course production cars into stock cars and supercars on a Friday night. It's going to be a very busy schedule. As Nico said, I'll probably be out of voice after 7 races a week, but looking forward to it immensely. Of course, a lot of planning efforts. Sorry to just cut in there. Something to add on the back of that is we'll be following the same tracks as GT3. However, where it permits, we'll be using a different variant of the circuit. Correct.
An example,
yes.
the Road Atlanta will use a short circuit, whereas the GT3s will use a full circuit.
And looking forward to all the challenges that come with that. I think the same applies to Monza as well. So looking forward to seeing how it all plays out. The servers will be up as at the usual times for all those events. Chris Whitaker, because pre-qualifying for the GT3 split is on the Silverstone configuration that you can't stand, I'd say there's going to be some patience tested this weekend as you get ready to pre-qualify for the GT3 series.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. When the GTs went there earlier in the season, I did those few laps that day and started to click with the track. So it's I still prefer the older layout to the current one, but yeah, I don't know. It seemed to start to click with me, just that new section. So yeah, we'll see how we go.
Now, I don't know what's going on here at the moment. We've got a few guys jumping out and jumping in. Dennis Gadderick, let's go to you before I lose you again, because I know your computer's starting to die. Very quickly, when you look at the new season, GT3 absolutely come back and defend the crown. Are you enticed by the Porsche?
To be fair with you, when I first started iRacing, I mainly joined it for the supercars. I am a sucker for my supercar.
Okay.
Yeah, it's sort of a mix, obviously, between the stock cars. I genuinely do enjoy the stock cars. which would be absolutely awesome. But yeah, I think I might be in the sort of the same boat as Hobbo, where it might be stock cars and supercars essentially.
Yeah.
I do feel like if I had Porsches in there, my family would never see me ever again. So I need to balance this out. I need to see what's good, what's not.
Exactly. And just on that, have you enjoyed the stock cars the last couple of times we've seen you in there?
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, it's such a fun, it's such a fun category. And tire wear actually means something. So strategy is a big thing, especially where it's sort of one of my weaknesses. So yeah, it's definitely a fun category. I think I just need to learn it a little bit more. Obviously, I haven't done it too often. I just jump in every few weeks or so. So I'm keen for this Friday, just to sort of throw it around and see what there is. But yeah, no, I reckon it's an amazing. I think it's very, very underrated, and I reckon a lot more people should try it because it really is a great series.
And Nico Pop will be sending your check in the mail for that recommendation. Well done. Thank you very much, Dennis. We'll let you go, mate, because as you say, your computer's starting to give out on you. But congratulations on the championship win. Well played.
Yeah, well done, Dennis.
Oh, thank you guys.
Really Ferrari,
appreciate
mate.
it. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I was going to say, if you ever wanted to join, it's right there, essentially. You've seen how it goes. But no, I really appreciate the work of everybody sort of this season, especially even, obviously, sort of, obviously behind the scenes there. And I just sort of wanted a sort of special thanks to, obviously, Paul Nichols, obviously Peter Matson for sponsoring the series, Gerald Daly, Chris Polly, Michael Porter, Chris Crisby. At one point, I thought it was Craig Baird talking over the radio, but it was Chris. No, that's really all right. Yeah, Scott Harris, Adam for his
nice shout out.
Adam for his, I suppose, for his work sort of behind the scenes there. Obviously we're pretty close to that man, so yeah, the work that he's putting behind there. Craig Bott and Nico Pop, of course, can't forget that absolutely handsome voice. It's a voice for radio. Let's put it
handsome
that way.
face as well.
Oh yeah, yeah, I'm sure.
Dennis, you enjoy driving that Ferrari on the Goldie, mate. Well done.
I'll do my absolute best. I'll try and send through some stuff through to the group.
Please
as well.
do. Let us know.
We
want to see.
That's it. We want to see those cargos.
Oh, I'll try and keep it on the road.
3/4 cargos.
Yeah, I'll get the Crocs all sorted, mate. That's the first thing everybody will see.
Oh dear. All right, it's all gone to hell very, very quickly here. Well done, mate. Nicely done. Chris, just coming back to you. What about the Porsches on a Wednesday night? Can we entice you in there as well, or at least come in and have a chat with us?
I would love to do the Porsches on a Wednesday. The intention was to do the Porsches, and Wednesday's the one day I can't do. So, yeah, disappointing, but I reckon you'll see Brendan in there.
For sure.
I'm pretty sure he'll be in there. Friday nights, I think we might mix it up a bit. I think we might move over to the supercars, maybe. We'll just see how it pans out.
For sure, maybe even double up with the stock cars into as well.
Don't worry, Chris, I got you covered.
Oh, you probably do. I'm terrible in the supercar.
Yeah, actually, Paul Nichols, that's an interesting point. The next series, we're likely to see a lot of these guys double up on Wednesdays and Fridays, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've got a very big schedule next season. I don't know what we've done, actually. I'm thinking about trying to reduce the amount of time we spend doing admin and race control and stewardship. And anyway, it is what it is.
Yeah, well, that's what they say.
We're all in this together.
We're in this together, mate.
Yes, all right.
Asking for a friend. Daylight saving.
Let's just wrap it up on that note then, you two idiots. Adam Wavis, thank you to you. Tremendous job as per usual.
Thanks, mate.
Getting the numbers crunched for us. In terms of the race, Adam, I should get a comment from you on that. Down in 26th in the end, started 25th, so you ended up on the 13th row in the greater scheme of things. You were stuck there sort of like glue, but tell us about the night that was. You ended 4 laps down, so it obviously didn't go to script.
Well, it was a 2-hour race, and I think I did an hour and 52 minutes of it.
Yeah.
Crash laps. So I had to reboot my computer and get it all fired back up, and it took about 5-8 minutes to get back in the race. And I was three laps down because computer went black.
What is it about tech issues tonight? Everyone's had.
Is it a full moon?
I don't know. I'm going to have a look when I get off air here.
Power reliability in my books.
I think it's Origin Energy.
Oh,
yeah,
don't
it could be.
I tell you what, I'm waiting. like next week, you guys are all pre-qualifying. I'm just parking myself out in front of my electricity meter, waiting for Olinda to come and Energex to come and read the bloody thing.
And the postman.
Yeah, exactly. Waiting for them like Santa Claus is waiting for his bloody bickies and water and milk under the bloody chimney.
I wonder if Santa Claus is going to be COVID lockdown.
Well, actually, yeah. Well, they gave the Easter Bunny exemption, funnily enough. So I'm sure they'll. And as we said, the borders will be open by Christmas because Anastasia Palaszczuk will find some way of being compassionate.
She mightn't be the premier.
Well, this is exactly right. If she's not, the borders will be open middle of November. If not, they might come open at the start of December. Brenton Hobson, well done to you. Thoughts on everything over the last 10 weeks because it's been an incredible series. Did you have a favourite race out of all of that?
Oh, geez, a favourite race? It's hard to say. There's been a lot of good ones, actually. I've really enjoyed the production cars, funnily enough, because they're just completely stress-free. But I think just to sort of reiterate a bit on what Dennis said, I'm new to this whole thing. I sort of first joined in at the end of last season, and this is my first real crack at it. So the guys all do a really good job here behind the scenes, and it's a well-run league, and everyone gets along really well. It's all run really, really well. So I've done a bit of this stuff before, and it's a really good bunch that's in here, from admin through to you guys that do the broadcast and just all the people involved on the track as well. It's a good bunch and a lot of good fun. So that's what I've enjoyed about it, just in a general sense, is it's been probably a bit more of a stress-free environment for me, as opposed to trying to compete at the pointy end of the big series that exist, So it's been really good fun. I've just enjoyed my time with it. I think that's probably the takeaway for me as a whole.
And we've enjoyed the show that you've put on along the way as well, mate. We look forward to seeing you on Friday night. Well done.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
Fantastic. Let's wrap things up here. Chris Kisby, thank you to you. Race Control needed a Governor General of sorts tonight, and thankfully you and Michael Porter didn't have too much work, but there's always next season for that.
Yeah, mate, that's true. As I said, the guys really did really well. Very little work for us to do on here. And I'll be doing a bit more race control next season. And I'm sort of only looking at the up-and-comers and the Porsche series. So that'll be it for me next year's season.
We'll see you in the up-and-comers on Wednesday night, of course. Mount Panorama, the venue for that. Looking forward to it immensely. Jackson Rayhana, that's your next assignment, a championship to wrap up there, of course. And also TCR and GT4 to look forward to as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I will say it's been tricky. The V8 Supercar is probably one of the very few, if the only car, that just doesn't quite click with me at Mount Panorama. So it'll be interesting. Again, I say this every week. I don't think I'm going to have it all my own way. Last week it was true. I didn't have it all my own way.
No.
But I know there are some pretty quick guys who like the V8 Supercar around Bathurst as opposed to me. So we'll see how we go. Obviously got a fairly hefty lead, so no real need to take any risks, if any. But at the same time, I kind of want 7 wins in a row. So we'll just have to see.
What's your name?
Indeed.
Hamilton.
Yeah.
I wish.
How good was Formula One last night?
So
Just for a change of variety.
Gasly, how good was that? That was amazing.
It was brilliant.
Speaking of
AlphaTauri
which, we have a request from Nick, which I'll just
get to that in a moment. That can be the outro tonight. Once we sign off here, Rob, I'm going to wrap this up very, very quickly. First win for AlphaTauri in 12 years. First win for a Frenchman in 24 years. Quite extraordinary stuff in the Italian Grand Prix last night. And first red flag there in the race at Monza for 25 years in Formula One, which, I mean, when you think about it, that's just extraordinary stuff. Driver of the night, Paul Nichols, Chris Whitaker, and Nico Pop. Your nominations, please.
Oh, you can't go past Dennis, really. I mean,
no, you
0
can't.
incidents, quality, pole position, win the race. Like, really, hands down.
And by nearly half a minute as well, Chris.
Yeah, I agree, but I'm actually going to go with Yanni.
Actually, that's a fair point.
Pro-Am, yeah, cool.
In terms of Pro-Am, he really set the bar high tonight, didn't he, Nick?
He did a really top job. Yes, I'd agree with Dennis Gadrick, but I'm going to say shout out to Nicholas Windsor. Even a red hot go, coming up from 20th up to 11th there.
And we've got to give you a pat on the back as well, mate. So most positions gained of anyone in the field, 43rd to 18th. So nicely done.
That's why then you don't qualify. But anyway.
Well, this is true, but I mean, you've got good. It looks like you're finally getting the hang of that Ford GT. Next series, if you are in the GT3 series, if we see you there, if not, you'll be in the commentary box with me. But would there be a change of car in your view at this point?
I guess to go off what Dennis was saying before,
with the OP,
what's
doesn't
going
it?
on,
Yeah.
but yeah, I probably will stick with the Ford. If I do it, I probably won't do it.
Okay.
Reduce some of my load and help you out as well.
Well, it'll be.
You sound like a politician.
It'll be great to have your company. Oh dear, Paul Nichols, your final thoughts on all of that?
Oh, what a fantastic series and what a fantastic season we've had. So, as I said before, shout out to the drivers that turn up every week and spend their time. And I'm gobsmacked by the quality of the racing. So, thanks to our sponsors, thanks to you, Zach, Rob. Well done, guys. Appreciate your support. Awesome job.
Fantastic. Jackson Rayhan has dropped out of the chat thread, and that's very rare that he leaves before the broadcast ends, which means we are well and truly over time. Extraordinary night tonight. Thank you to all these guys for all their help, as per usual. Congratulations to all involved with the Gentleman Sim Racing Club for putting on an awesome GT3 series. Of course, there's plenty more where that came from, starting with Season 3 on September 21. Looking ahead, as far as Dual Drift Esports is concerned, the Blendline series continues tomorrow night, so you'll be able to tune in for that. Wednesday night, Adam Lavis is in charge of the production for the second week in a row. Did a bang-up job last week. Let's hope he can back that up. Of course, he got struck by tech issues tonight as well, so my fingers are crossed that they're out the window for Wednesday night. It'll be all things Mount
Windows
Panorama.
was the problem, I'd say, Zach. Windows updates.
Yeah, exactly. Windows updates. I know what that's all about. Mount Panorama, again, the venue. 40-minute race for the up-and-comers around there in the V8 Supercar Legacy cars. And then, of course, the 1-hour race, not the 40-minute race, the 1-hour race this time around for TCR GT4, same car, same venue as per usual. So looking forward to that immensely. Michael Hammond, Ben Snell looking to put on another tip-top show. We will crown our champions. We have a start time of 7:30, which is the same as usual, so no earlier start or anything like that there. Same again on Friday night. We start 6:30, 6:40, somewhere around there, as per usual. So we will end later because the stock car race will be about half an hour longer than what it usually is. So looking forward to that immensely. The production cars, Mount Panorama finale for them. Stock cars, Daytona, road course, NASCAR style. So the chicane on the main straight, unlike what you get with the Rolex 24. That's all coming up on Dual Drift Esports. The new season starts with the first round of the GT3 series, Monday, September 21, Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya. It'll be the intro to Wings into the GT3 series, our broadcast from 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. I'm looking forward to it immensely. It's appropriate that we go to Spain because that'll be the middle of 2 weekends where MotoGP and World Superbikes are dominating headlines at that venue. So we'll join in the fun of the fair there as well. Been a terrific night, been a long night, been a lot of fun to bring it to you. 11:07, we better wrap it up. Thanks to everyone that's tuned in right around the country, right around the world, be it via Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube as well. Thanks to Oculair, LJ Hooker Gaindar, of course, Flash Graphics, and Central Coast Subaru. Thanks to Dual Drift Esports as well. It's been a lot of fun to bring the GT3 series finale to you, albeit with a couple of little gremlins along the way, but we thank you for persevering with us as we were able to crown a champion. Dennis Gaderick home by 3 points. Ferrari clinched it at the death. You better believe it. There was a sting in the tail. 2 hours, 52 minutes, 57 laps. He gets the championship done with his 5th win of the campaign, and that turned out to be the difference in the end. Brenton Hobson second, Richard Hunter third in that race. Yanni Sorteria getting the job done in Pro-Am in a superb drive all the way to 4th, and very unlucky not to be on the outright podium as well. For all the team here at Dual Drift Esports and the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, I'm Zach Cabin. Thanks so much for your company. Hope you've enjoyed it. We look forward to your company Wednesday night as Championship Week continues. For all of us, for now, it's a very good night to you.
I've been running a mile just to find my feet. Just finding a place where my